Well. Another day, we thought we were going to wake up and Maxx Crosby was going to be a Dallas Cowboy, and that is not the case. But nevertheless, we still had a lot going on yesterday because Dak Prescott gave a press conference at the children's cancer thing he does every single year. We're going to listen to that. And Dak Prescott had quite a bit to say in a short amount of time. It's got a few people in their feelings, and some people may even have taken what Dak Prescott said the wrong way. And so, Dallas Cowboy fans seem to be divided on whether or not the Cowboys should go all in on one Maxx Crosby, or whether or not they should go and get Trey Hendrickson, and all of these different things. So much going on with the Dallas Cowboys, and there's really not a whole lot going on with the Dallas Cowboys. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. It's about that time. Yep, let's go. Man, it's been crazy out here in the social media, man. People just going nuts over this Maxx Crosby thing. Look like Cowboys are probably going to be out on Maxx Crosby. We're going to be talking about that today. But man, it is a great time to be a Dallas Cowboy fan because they are in win now mode. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We got a lot more stuff coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. All right, this is where we're going to be today. Man, we got a lot, and there is a lot packed in here. A lot of discussions we're going to be having inside and out of this entire conversation. So we're going to listen to this Dak Prescott press conference in its entirety. Because I don't like hearing the snippets sometimes because I can't hear the question they're asking before, the question they're asking after, and there may be a little bit more context to an answer that is being given as it applies to Dak Prescott. And so then we're going to take from that, we're going to listen to or discuss the advice that Dak Prescott gave to one George Pickens. We're going to hear Pat McAfee talk about it. We're going to hear ESPN talk about it. And of course, I'm going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about Maxx Crosby news. What's the latest news on Maxx Crosby? Then we're going to have a discussion of the road going towards Maxx Crosby or the road going towards Trey Hendrickson. Kind of what do those look like? We're going to have a really good discussion on that. Also, I think we're going to try to listen to 105.3 The Fan, as they had a pretty good discussion today too, as it applies to one Maxx Crosby. And then, of course, more things to come. I want to show you a breakdown that Jon Gruden did on the 3-4 defense in case some of us who are not as familiar with defensive formations and all those different things. Jon Gruden did a very powerful but simple breakdown of the 3-4 defense. And the reason why I want to show you that is so you can truly understand the task at hand the Cowboys have in front of them. The task at hand they have in front of them of filling up a 3-4 defense. I'm telling y'all it's tough. I'm telling you it's tough. There's a reason why a lot of teams don't do the 3-4 defense. It is tough to fill that defense up with the players that can actually be effective in it. But when you get those players, that defense is A1. And then that's going to bring us to Nakobe Dean. I've been trying to get to this subject for 3 days. We're going to see if I can get to the subject with Nakobe Dean today. It's a very good subject, a very good video I have about Nakobe Dean. And then we got some quick hit news, things that are coming down the pike as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys. So this is what we're going to deal with again. The Dak Prescott interview, the advice he gave to George Pickens, Maxx Crosby news, Max or trade, 3-4 defense, Nakobe Dean, and the quick hits. Let's go. Let's get it. Yep. Let's go. Cowboy fans, I'm still excited. It's a great time to be the Cowboy. To watch Jerry Jones in this kind of mode, man, it's great. All right, let's get this quick roll call. Then we're going to get on with today's show. My man Dominique Pittman, what's going on? He said, hit that like button. All conversations welcome, but watch the language and get booted out. Come on with it. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Dominique. Robert Dudley, what up, Dudley? He said, I hope you had a good Bible study last night. Give God the glory. Man, Robert Dudley. It was raining so bad and the weather was so bad. Man, I got halfway and had to turn around. It was bad. It was bad, but nevertheless, I'm gonna do one again. I do those online anyway on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'll make up for it tomorrow. What up, Rena saying, Queenie? What's going on, Queen? She said, I really don't think Dak said anything wrong about GP. What's the big issue? We're gonna talk about it. It is the real estate vet. What's going on? He said, what's going on, G? Matt energies to the let me see, hold on a second. I'm trying to decipher this. He says, the NFC opening up for us. Yes, this got to be our year. They put a virus in their system and don't even know it. What's going on, my brother? Lord Nova, 85 up in here. What's going on, Lord Nova? What up, my brother RT Holman? What's going on? It's Bump TY 5 times. What's going on? From the 9031 from Keep Stomping, Richard Owens, Mr. Get Dirty. What's going on from Memphis, Tennessee? What's going on with you? What's going on? Cowboy fan Kivo up in here. Boy, oh man, I'm telling you, you eat some barbecue. I feel you. Yes, sir. He said, God bless everybody in the chat. Brandon Cup, what's going on? More Eddie. What up? David Everett. Big Dow, what's going on, Big Dow? Yeah, they was hating on Dak. I think they was reading too much into it. Paul Whitted, what's going on? JCT Slice said, Dak Prescott has every right to feel like he's a top 5 quarterback and better than Jalen Hurts. He's an absolute baller, and if our defense can beat 2, we're getting that 6th. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about that today. David Everett, what's going on? Frank Lawrence, what's up, Frank Lawrence? 72 Chevelle, Larry Stroud, Travis McLaurin, what's going on? Hallelujah, salute. What's going on? All right, good to see y'all. What up, Shedrick Law? All right, give yourselves a hand. The best chat on YouTube. Give yourselves a hand. And so, let's kind of get into this first topic as it applies to one Rain Dakota Prescott. And Dak has been taking a lot of flack because of this particular conversation that he begins to have about George Pickens. But you know, people kind of miss out on certain things because they just lift out what they want. So we're going to get a breakdown of this, and we're going to come back. We'll come back and we'll play it again after we listen to the interview in its entirety. But again, I had not heard this interview in its entirety, so I want to get a little bit of context.
Dak, this is your 4th year being.
Here's some of the things that people are saying so that I can get the full understanding of what was going on, because sometimes if you take a snippet of something, you might not understand it. Travis McLaurin, what's going on? Brandy, what up, Brandy? All right, let's kind of listen and start this thing out with Dak Prescott. And then we'll kind of stop wherever we want to, and then we'll say some things. What's going on, Big Moss Dog? What up, Moss Dog? All right. Let's check out what Dak Prescott is talking about here.
Being a part of the quarterback spirit here, can you just talk about what this even means to you, what it's like to see these kids' faces today?
Yeah, it's a blessing to be here. Talk about wanting to get a grasp of what's life really about and what's a real challenge is about. You come here and you see kids in the middle of a real life journey and battle against a terrible disease, and that's what we're here to raise money.
Appreciate you, Travis McLaurin.
Bring as much research as we can to end this fight for not only these kids but for the next generation and for all to come and all that are affected by it. And so it's a blessing to be here. And I go back 4 years ago when I was asked to be here from Roger. He could have asked me to do anything that he's done, and I would have said yeah, but I didn't realize how great and how rewarding a night like this would be, and it's one of my favorite nights of the year, and just being here to meet the models for the first time is just as fun.
When did you realize and it kind of hit you that you're able to make an impact at this event every year?
I truly believe Dak Prescott is going to be a Cowboy for life. I really do. Jerry is going to engraft Dak into the umbrella, and he's gonna be a Cowboy. I'm telling you, I believe he's gonna be a Cowboy for life. He does a lot of great things in the community. He loves the community. He loves the children, and I think this is a really big plus for Dak Prescott. And this is one of those things I really wish Dak Prescott could get more of his teammates involved in, because I think things like this help you kind of occupy your mind outside of football. They kind of give you a different release, and kind of keep you grounded in what you're doing. Because, man, when you're a millionaire and money doesn't change you, it just really helps you to become who you are. Dak Prescott, I believe, is a good person. But I also believe this can, doing things like this can help bring the best out of people and things that they never thought was inside of them just because of the people they come in contact with, these children and these parents who deal with these type of things. I used to work at a special needs school, and it really helped my thinking as it applies to, being thankful and the power of love, and just when you see the love that people have for children and people who go through certain things and how they get through it. Man, it's a very powerful experience. But I really wish Dak would really get guys like Pickens and others involved in this. But again, Dak is a great guy. Man, this is just a great effort he's involved in. Cowboy for life for sure.
Yeah, honestly, my first year of being a chair, I had come a couple of other times as just, a guest or just walking one of the kids. And then, you feel it then, and you feel inspired, and your heart's warmed, and you're like, these are the things I want to do, and this is something I want to be a part of. But then when you come back and then you get to be a chair, and I got to meet some of those kids that I walked, and to see that they're survivors now, and to see that they're what they're doing, and they're still working for Children's Cancer Fund, and just the journey. One of my favorite stories is a buddy at the golf shops, a kid that I walked with 6-7 years ago, and to now see him a golf pro up there, right, and just doing that, and just to see the full circle of life and to be a part of it is a blessing. Makes me forget about anything that's going on that's tough. Simple as that. Like I said, you want to see a real challenge and a real battle, everything that these kids are facing, each and every one of these models, but just watch their demeanors through it, their demeanor tonight or today, watch it at the gala, just watch the smiles, the courage, the hope, and all of that they that they permeate onto other people. And it's special because that's what this night gives them. This night gives them that hope. This night gives them that confidence that not only that they will beat the cancer, but they can be proud of who they are, and they can smile, and they can step up, talk to others, and be confident in their own skin.
When you think back to launching things like this, what does it mean for your foundation to be a part of this?
It's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted to do. My mom told me all greats have a story. Allow her to be my story, and we're here because of cancer. I started my foundation because of my mom and her battle with cancer, and to now be here, same fight against cancer, just to a different age group. And that's the point, is it affects all of us. And so anytime my foundation can get involved, we're going to. And so it's amazing to be partnered now after 9 years, 8 years ago, starting our foundation with such big charities.
When you hear what the kids want to be someday, their dream profession,
yeah,
how does that part hit you about the goal of this goal?
I love it. Honestly, when I hear them, there's no doubt in my mind that each and every one of those kids won't be what they've asked and said they would be. I was a kid that said I'd be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys when I was their age. Now, I wasn't in their fight against it, against cancer, but, I had people who poured into me and a support system that made sure I believed that and did everything that I could do to make that a possibility. And so I know these kids have that in their families, but that's also what Children's Cancer Fund does as well. It creates that bigger support system, gives them the resources to make sure that they're able to go down that lane and not take a step off. And I'm proud and privileged to be a part of that support system.
Jack, you obviously talked about cancer is a physical battle, but you talked about the mental part of it just a few minutes ago. That's been a big part of your story and your initiative as well. How much do you kind of shine that on the kids for the mental battle, the mental health side?
Yeah, I think it's everything. As I said up there, the only disability is a bad attitude, and these kids didn't get to, they didn't pick their illnesses, and they didn't pick this fight, and they didn't get to choose that, but they can wake up every day and we can support them to say, you know what, I can be as whoever I want to be, I can beat this fight. And that's what's amazing in this, and that's why you have such a privilege and obligation to come to these things and to serve and to make sure that we're a part of that support system and pouring into the beliefs.
Okay, for these being kids, obviously,
Yeah, you said it just creates empathy. Can't imagine being in any of these parents' shoes. Not at all. You know, we get a runny nose or a fever, and you panic, and you're doing everything you can. And so, no, I can't imagine. It really just creates empathy, and that's why I just want to be, the best friend, neighbor I can for not only these kids but for their parents and everybody that's a part of Children's Cancer Fund.
Raising the money that this fund does is obviously
For sure.
important. You also get the opportunity to have these connections with the kids today and reality. How much do you cherish and relish those moments?
The connections are everything. As I said, I mean, from my buddy that's a golf pro at Stonebriar, to a guy that used to be Doug, his name's Sam. I call him Doug. You know our nicknames. That used to be an equipment manager for us, who walked in the Children's Cancer Fund, I think back with like Quincy Carter. So like those connections, right? That like I'll have, and I'll meet these kids later in life, and to see that they've beat this, and not only beat this, that they're helping other kids and paying it forward. The money's only part of it. The money only fuels it and fuels the relationships, and that's what it's about.
You've gone against Christian Parker secondary sports.
Yeah, this is great conversation to Dak Prescott. I want to make sure I included this. Could have went straight to the football part, but I wanted to make sure we included this because one of the things that when you think about, even though Dak Prescott is a millionaire, but money doesn't take the place of people. You think about what Dak Prescott has been through with his mother. Think about what he's been through with his brother. You just think about where he comes from, trailer park over in Louisiana, I believe. When you just think about everything that Dak Prescott has overcome, and then the scrutiny of being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, one of the things about working with something greater than yourself that helps you to understand that there are bigger things out there in life, it really helps you to be able to deal with things. It gives you a very, very good balance that you don't take things that, happen like what Dak is, the scrutiny, the criticism. You can still live because you understand that football, even though it is your life, it isn't your life. And these are the types of things that actually help you as a human being. And when you are a better human being, the thing that people don't realize is that when you are a better human being, it spills over into everything you do in your life. And so it helps you to become better at everything in your life. And so this is how Dak, people don't understand how Dak is able to deal with the weight of being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback and all of the scrutiny that comes along with it. Dak understands that, man, there are bigger things out there. As important as football is in my life, Dak can say, there are things out there that are bigger and people who are going through things worse than what I go through, even with the scrutiny, because in the grand scheme of things, man, there is life after football. And there is life other than football. And so these are the types of things that keep Dak Prescott kind of level-headed and grounded, so, you don't get too much of a big head and take life for granted as it applies to what he's doing. But I love Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is an incredible human being. He's an incredible human being. And you cannot help but root for Dak Prescott. And I'm telling you now, this is why I want the Cowboys so bad to get a ring up under Dak Prescott. I want them so bad to get a ring up under Dak Prescott because it would really put the exclamation point on a great story all the way from Mississippi, Mississippi State, all the way from Mississippi State, taking them to being the number one team in the country until they met Alabama, and then, falling in the draft based on something that was very trivial, supposed to be the backup. He was the fourth string quarterback and makes it all the way to the first string quarterback on injuries, plays his butt off, has been the starting quarterback ever since. They said it would be nothing but a backup. He's been a starter for 10 years now. And Dak Prescott, it is time for this man to get that Super Bowl. He's got the ability. We just got to get the team around him. And so I think this is incredible with Dak Prescott. Let's get a couple more greetings in here. And I'm going to read a super chat, and we're going to start listening to, now they're going to start asking Dak Prescott football questions. We knew they were coming. It was just a matter of when were they going to get to him. What's going on, Michael Ballier? He says Dallas let explode, is about to, Dallas, I'm thinking he said is about to explode. Number one, Dallas, best team ever. Dak, Pickens, Williams, best team in the world. Yeah. Yeah, we about to get this thing going. John Jones, he said, what up, G-Buddy? I said, it's a New Jack City. What's going on? What up? Dudley said, is it me or does Maxx Crosby and the Raiders overpick the free agency trade value with us in it, but now we're out of it? Will Maxx and the Raiders free agency trade fall back down to earth? I don't think so. I think the Raiders are being smart. I think the Raiders are being smart. They're trying to maximize this trade. They already know they're going to trade him. They're just trying to maximize it. And again, their favorite team is not the Cowboys. Their favorite team is not the Cowboys. Their favorite team is the team that's going to give them the most draft picks for one Maxx Crosby. But you kind of think about it, Dudley. You're like, well, Maxx Crosby isn't as good as Micah Parsons as far as rushing the passer. Some may say he's better all around. Micah got it was 2 first and a player. Sauce Gardner was 2 first and a player. So the Raiders are saying we want 2 first and a player too. All right, what's going on? Larry Golden, Dolores Ennis, Ron Hanna, Bass Untapped in. What's up, you guys? Good to see you. All right, let's get this. Let me get back to this thing. What's going on, Tatiana? Good to see you. Larry Golden, what's going on? Good to see you. Paul Whitted, Bama Boy, what's up? I'm going to break, but that's not breaking news, but I'll talk about that at the end. What's going on, Big Spank Dog? What's going on? Carl Williams, what's going on with you? Good to see everybody. Mim10188, what's up? Get a couple super chats in here. It's the real estate vet. He said, I was trying to say 49ers hired Matty Baflus. Yeah, I got that on my list. Man, they put a virus in their system and don't even know it. They didn't see his hours for the taking. I'm not sure what his position does, but it's crazy to me that Matt Eberflus just won't sit down, take a rest, and get himself together. Why not? Bro, he's got some people issues. Travis McLaurin, what's going on? Appreciate you. Frank Lawrence, appreciate that $5 super chat also. A few weeks ago, most would agree we keep our number one offense together. An overachieving middle-of-the-road defense where CP can compete for the trophy. Oh, I agree. Frank Lawrence, you said something else here, too. I want to see that you said, sounds like you are a veteran here. Let me see. No, not Frank Lawrence. I'm sorry. Travis McLaurin. Travis, appreciate that super chat. And then you said this. You said, yes, sir, 23 and a half years. Army, you come in contact with so many different people from all walks of life. I trained some of today's greatest troops. Amen. Salute to you. Thank you for your service, Travis. Thank you for your service. I always tell people, man, freedom ain't free. Thank you for your service. All right, let's continue on with this Dak Prescott conversation. Yeah, Kippy, what's going on, Kippy? What up, Kip? What's up, Big Coop? Freddie Morales, El Chuco in the house. What up, El Chuco? All right, let's get this conversation with Dak Prescott. Now they're getting into the football questions.
Face of football. What have you had a chance to meet him, and what are your just impressions of that hire that you guys have had?
Yeah, super excited about that hire. I've met him, talked to him briefly, but excited just for the demeanor, the way he carries himself, and met the whole staff. And not only that, when you go to the Pro Bowl, you get to meet guys. You get to talk to Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, guys that played under him, and just to hear how much they loved him, how much they loved playing for him, how excited our guys are going to be. Super pumped.
Last question, guys.
Oh, it was huge. It was huge. I mean, I know I sent him some messages, obviously, valedictorian, letting him know how much I appreciate him, needed him back. And I was just glad they're able to get the deal done for all parties. And he's a huge part of our success and what we're going to do.
I remember you talking about being super excited about having a fully healthy offseason. What do you plan on getting better at this offseason? I know it's year 11, so it's really just little nuances at this point. But what is the focus for you this offseason?
Yeah, just all those little nuances. And I think if there's one thing, it's probably just some rhythm in my footwork, and that's something that other people might not even realize or see, but it's just me wanting to, be a perfectionist in the way that we do things. And, I started doing new things last year with Shadi and pointed the footwork, and some of them just aren't quite to the standard that we want them to be. And so that's a big part of it, but as you said, the whole game.
When you hear Jerry talking about potentially spending big in free agency, does that excite you any other guys?
Heck yeah, most definitely, especially what is it said, no projects or whatever, we need guys now to play. Yeah, no red shirts or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we got a coach in the second year. We know we had some ups and downs and shined some good moments last year, and this is the year that you make a big jump, and getting big time players who can help immediately is a key part of that.
What's your advice to George in this situation, since you've been in the franchise tag situation a couple times?
Yeah, George loves football. That's the one thing about it. I just want him to know, don't change your love for football. Don't get in the business mind of this. You played last year on a 1 year for not even that much, right? So if you can go 30, whatever it is now, I think it's the same thing I got. So, when I franchise. So, hey, go do it. At the end of the day, bet on yourself. He's a hell of a player. Hopefully we can get him long term and sign that. But if not, I think the way that he plays the game and the person that he is, he'll be just fine.
How much better can this offense get?
I don't want to put a limit on it. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. 36 gallons.
Yeah. What's going on, Antoine Garrett? Andre Johnson, what up? I want to go back now because this has been the big talk about the advice that he gave George Pickens. Angela Brewer, what's going on? Good to see you. Mr. Seed Starter, what up? Now, you got to make sure when you listen to this, Dak Prescott said a lot in a little when it came to George Pickens. And so as people start listening to what Dak Prescott said, people got in their feelings because they're saying that Dak Prescott is being hypocritical and all these different things. And they're saying that Dak Prescott shouldn't have said what he said about the money and about playing on the tag.
George loves football.
So I want to play a couple of different perspectives on this. I'm not going to play the one from Speak Easy. I mean, Emmanuel Acho gives some of the dumbest takes you'll ever hear in your life. I couldn't even discuss that nonsense. Angie the Rebel Chicks. What up, Angie? What's going on, X? So let's kind of go back and listen to them just try to some people have actually been trying to destroy Dak Prescott on this. Some people have been trying to give the George Pickens perspective on this. But I think where Dak Prescott was in a good place. Let's check this out.
The one thing about it, I just want him to know, don't change your love for football. Don't get in the business mind of this. You played last year on a...
So let's start with the first part. Let's rewind that. You have to dissect this piece by piece. You really do, because it'll mess with your head if you just listen to it in a hurry. Because Dak Prescott is saying a bunch as he's trying to. They said this is the last question, so Dak is just boom, 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 knocking these answers down, and people are not really listening to what he's saying. Hold on. I want to put some markers in here today so I can make sure I put this in the live stream, the replay. All right, so let's check out what Dak said first that kind of got people in their feelings.
George loves football. That's the one thing about it. I just want him to know, don't change your love for football. Don't.
So let's stop right there. He said, don't change your love for football. Don't get in your head about the business part. So let's think about what Dak Prescott is saying and really understand it and break it down. So anytime you get into these contract negotiations, the part that everybody hates about football is the business. The fans hate the business. And don't you think for a second the players don't hate the business. The players hate the business. And I guarantee you, even the coaches, they hate the business. They hate the business because the business part of football is the part that makes players depart. That's the part where you lose great players. That's the part where you don't know what you're going to look like from year to year because of the football business. And so now that George Pickens took care of his business on the field, now it has come to the football business. It's time for George Pickens to get paid. It's time for George Pickens to get paid. So what he's telling them is the business will make you hate football. The business will make you mad, and it will interfere with football. Because the business will say, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to play football. If you're not going to pay me, I deserve or I've earned what I got because I did what I was supposed to do in football. And now you're telling me on the other side in the business, because I told y'all this a couple of weeks ago, you really can't separate the business from football on this level. You can't. You can't really separate it. And the reason why you can't separate it because the performance brings money. The performance brings money. And because there are other people performing and they're getting money, the issue becomes who is the best at the position. It's a meritocracy. Who's the best in the league? Who's getting this money? Who's getting that money? And so everybody wants to get what they feel like they are worth. It's the part you cannot get away from. You can't get away from. And so that business, and then people start trying to say stuff like, hey, you only had one good year. What happened all those other years? Oh, you wouldn't be this good if you were not with the Cowboys. I mean, people start saying stuff in the business that will make you mad about the football. And it'll make you, again, George Pickens has got to make a decision. And it don't matter what I say. It don't matter what Dak say. It don't matter what anyone say. This is George Pickens' life. This is George Pickens' life. George has to decide if he's the one that's want to play on the franchise tag. He's got to make that decision. But Dak is saying, when you start listening to a lot of the talk, the things that are going to come down and what people are going to be talking about, because, man, anytime you're up for a contract, I don't care who you are, the criticism is coming. There's always somebody saying you're not worth the money. Somebody saying you're playing for the money. Somebody saying you're chasing the money. People are saying all kinds of things about you. You're not that good. You're not. I mean, there's so many things that get said. He's telling them, block that out. Those things will make you hate the game. And so if you're going to come out there and if you want to still participate, if you want to practice, whatever the case, while you're on the franchise tag, he's saying something. Don't let the business, don't let it stop you from loving football, and don't let it stop you from doing whatever it is you want to do. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't even think he's necessarily telling George Pickens to play on the franchise tag. I just think he's telling him to bet on himself. And so, in the grand scheme of things, George is betting on himself whether he plays or not. This is the part people don't understand. George is betting on himself. That's the part people don't. He's betting on himself whether he practices under the franchise tag or not. He's still betting on himself. Bottom line. And so Dak is telling him, don't let the business make you start hating football. Because I think that's what happened to Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons let the contract discussion make him do stuff that I'm sure if he looked back on now, he probably wouldn't have done. Eating nachos on the sideline, laying on the table for however long it was, He stopped participating with the team, even as in a hold in. He start coming with his jersey halfway on his body language, frowning. Dak is saying, don't do that stuff. That makes you hate the game. Stay in love with the game. Let's listen to the next part. People are confused on.
Don't get in the business mind of this.
Yeah.
You played last year on a 1 year for not even that much, right? So if you can go 30, whatever it is now, I think it's the same thing I got. So, when I franchise. So, hey, go do it. At the end of the day.
Now, I don't think Dak, and I had to really just listen to this and think about it. But Dak Prescott isn't telling George Pickens to play on the franchise tag. I don't think that's what he's telling him in the grand scheme of things. I think he's just trying to give him the upside of playing on the podcast. Dog, I'm sorry, I'm reading some. Playing on the tag. I think that's what he's doing. Playing on the tag. He's saying, bro, you can hit the lottery 2 times. You can get the franchise tag, and if you come back and tear the field up again, you're going to get a huge deal, because more than likely you're going to get a huge deal from the Cowboys. And so he's just saying something. If you bet on yourself, you can double dip. You can double dip. I don't think he's necessarily telling him to double dip, but I think what got people in their feelings, and I totally understand it, is when Dak starts saying, like, what you made last year versus what you're going to make this year. I think that kind of put people, that kind of got people in the wrong mindset, because Dak Prescott has to understand this, and I'm sure he does, and all of us have to understand this. I'm sorry, but being a quarterback playing under a tag and being a wide receiver playing under a tag, they are 2 different things. A quarterback can absolutely get cataclysmic injuries. Cataclysmic. Still come back and get paid. Still come back and get paid ludicrous money. Because as a quarterback, even if you don't get the best contract, man, you could be top 7 in the league, top 10 in the league. You getting ludicrous money on franchise tags and things of that nature, or ludicrous money even if they say you're going to be the 10th paid quarterback. Man, that's ludicrous money. As a wide receiver, tear a knee right before a contract. Tear a knee if you want to. Now, the only team that I know that will really pay you after you get injured, it is the Dallas Cowboys. So if there's anybody who understands playing on a tag with the Dallas Cowboys, it's Dak Prescott. So, Dak Prescott is saying, play on the tag, bet on yourself, get paid. Get paid. We need you, because Dak said something at the beginning that I didn't hear before. But did y'all notice that Dak Prescott said something? Dak Prescott says, hey, George, or maybe he's going to say it at the end, but he says that if George, he says, hopefully we can extend him to a long term, but he says something strange. He says, but if we can't, George will be fine. I mean, Dak is saying something too. The league is watching. The league is watching how you're going to do all of this. Just check him out.
Bet on yourself. He's a hell of a player. Hopefully we can get him long term and sign that. But if not, I think
Wait. Did y'all hear how he nonchalantly said, if we can't get him to a long-term deal? I mean, Dak just kind of nonchalantly says this. But I think there is a lot inside of what Dak is saying. Playing benefits George. Love it, like it, or hate it, it benefits him. Because if he can come out and replicate or exceed what he did this year, and I think Dak's going to give him every opportunity to do it, he's going to bust the bank, whether it be with the Cowboys or somebody else. He is going to bust the bank. Because if he replicates or does better than that same or do better than what he did the previous year, oh no. I don't care if the Cowboys put a non-exclusive tag on him or not. Teams are going to come knocking. Just listen to how Dak kind of just throws this in there.
And sign that, but if not, I think the way that he plays the game and the person that he is, he'll be just fine.
Okay, so words of...
Yeah. You know, you can take it how you want to. I mean, Dak is speaking from the perspective that he bet on himself. He's not telling George that he has to play on the tag. I think he's encouraging him. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's not. I don't think he's telling him, but I think he's encouraging him of, you love the game. Don't stay away from the game because of the contract issue. Now, this is all up to George. This is up to George. Dak can't excoriate him if he decides to sit out, because when Michael held in, Dak said he understood it. It's the business. And so everybody's got to understand the business and not criticize George whatever decision that he makes. Whatever decision that he makes. But at the end of the day, I mean, Dak understands what he's encouraging George to do. Play on the tag. If you stay healthy the whole season and you do what I know you're going to do, because I'm going to throw you the ball, you're going to hit the lottery, whether it's with us or someone else. But also the dirty underbelly is, if you start hating the game, you don't play, then you're only really taking away from yourself. This is a very tough situation for George. I'm just being honest with y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about it. Y'all tell me in the chat. But I think this is a very tough decision for George. Because everyone says, oh, it's $27 million. Oh, sure, he's going to get 27. Dak even mentioned previously he got 27. I mean, the previous year, he didn't even get nowhere near this. Now he's going to get 27. So play on that. But George also knows he's worth $70 million. And really, Dak is telling George, without telling George, trust Jerry Jones. He really is. He's saying, trust Jerry Jones. If you'll practice on the tag, Jerry's going to take care of you. I mean, we got to understand what George is really having to do. Angie said they barely gave Pickens enough catches and he got over 1,000. No doubt. Imagine had they gave him 115 receptions. I mean, George probably would have been the number one receiver in the game. This is tough. I can understand what George is going through. Even I don't know. I don't know if I can really understand. No one's ever offered me $27 million, but I'm just saying. It's like somebody telling you to take a lump sum payout or, hold out for the big money. So, boys, it's tough. Now, this opinion right here, I understand what he's saying, and I don't think he was necessarily hating on Dak Prescott. I think he was just speaking from the perspective of a player, because I've never heard anybody say they were happy to play on a tag other than DeMarcus Lawrence. And I don't even know if Dak Prescott was saying he was happy to play on the tag. He said he just like bet on yourself.
Wisdom from Dak Prescott. This felt like a very Dak Prescott thing to say. What was your takeaway?
Man, if I'm George Pickens, I ain't trying to hear all of that. I don't need your opinion of what I should be doing. Just love of the game, go play. If I'm talking to SA and I'm in a contract negotiating, I'm trying to get ESPN to pay me some money, I don't need SA saying to me.
He would not say that. That's very clear.
And 100, he's going to get you $1 million. I know what he's going to say. And that's what I would expect him to say.
Go get the money. Until you get the money.
No doubt about it. And
facts. You're right, Kimberly. You're right.
For Dak Prescott, looking out for Dak Prescott. I'm a better quarterback with George Pickens out there on the field. But as an NFL player, as a professional athlete, you cannot ignore the business side of any of this. We are a business. Jay-Z said it way back in the day, and it is still very true right now. For George Pickens, he has to understand the situation he's in. And I'm not saying he shouldn't go out there and play. At some point, you do have to show up. You can't leave that type of money on the table. That doesn't mean you show up for the entire offseason. You have to strategically go about this in conversations with your agent. I think what Dak Prescott is saying is just be a good soldier, shut up, take the franchise tag deal, don't make any fuss, any noise about it, show up to every single thing, focus on the love of football, and just come in and perform. It's impossible to do that when all of this is lingering, because when you bet on yourself, there's a lot of variables that come into play with that. Dak Prescott still has to have a tremendous year for George Pickens to have a tremendous year. The offensive line has to hold up to get the ball to the outside. And within all of that, George Pickens still has to stay healthy to be able to get paid last year. So it's a lot more than just go play for the love of the game. This isn't Pop Warner anymore, and it's not high school. So there is a business aspect and a business side of it that as players we cannot ignore.
All right, Jason, I feel like you're putting.
I don't think he's overreading it. And I want us to understand this. I don't think he's overreading it. He's just speaking from the perspective of a player. These two, Stephen A. Smith and this young lady right here, they're not speaking from the perspective of a player. They're speaking from the perspective of his $28 million. You don't turn that down or whatever case may be. But McCourty is speaking from the perspective of a player because, yeah, $28 million is right there. But at the same time, man, there's a lot more at stake for George Pickens. And he messed around and get an injury. It's over. Other than what he's going to get from the Cowboys.
20 on 10.
On that tag.
Like, I feel like all Dak is saying is remember the love of the game and bet on yourself. Dak is somebody who had to wait. A lot of us literally were on this show for years advocating Dak Prescott deserves his money. Dak Prescott's been hit with the tag, right?
No doubt.
Dak Prescott had to say, oh, I'm going to bet on me. Fine. All right. We'll see. And Dak Prescott got the last laugh in the end because he got all the money.
Understand, Dak Prescott is a quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. Quarterbacks are different. I mean, we just saw Phillip Rivers come off the couch with a beer gut playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Terrell Owens is in incredible shape. He's in incredible shape. I don't see anybody calling T.O. And T.O. said he'll play. Quarterbacks are different. They are so hard to find. I mean, look at this year's draft. I mean, Kyler Murray is the top free agent quarterback on the market right now. What does that tell you about the quarterback market? When you're a quarterback, it's different. You're talking from the perspective of a quarterback. And so I get what she's saying about the experience of Dak Prescott. But I also think McCourty is speaking from the perspective of not being a quarterback. Now, again, you know, somebody could be in the ear. Hey, George. Hey, Michael Gallup came off a cataclysmic. I mean, you know, he came off a bad injury. Jerry still paid him and still paid him after he retired because of the contract. I mean, people can say that. People can say that, but you're asking George Pickens to trust Jerry Jones to do that if you get hurt. Now, can you get that in writing? No. You can't get that in writing. You can't. So I understand what he's saying. I also understand that they're saying that Dak didn't probably mean is as deep as he's saying. But I think two things can be true. It don't really matter what Dak meant in the eyes of the guy, I think his name is McCourty. It don't matter. He's talking from the perspective of a player. He's talking from the perspective of somebody who's played the game and has put his body on the line. I don't think he's necessarily wrong either.
Now, I understand the positions are different, quarterback to wide receiver. I understand the money is not the
Yeah.
same. But I'll be
Not to understand, not just the money, but the opportunity. Man, Kirk Cousins, 38-year-old self, if I'm not mistaken, he's over around 38 years old. I don't know. I'm guessing he's around 38. Man, Kirk Cousins robbed the Atlanta Falcons for $120 million. This dude gonna hit free agency again, and he gonna rob somebody again. Why? He's a quarterback. People ain't letting old wide receivers rob them. They're not doing it.
be honest, I was a little surprised that people got super upset with Dak. Like, why are you even talking about that man's business? I think as the quarterback, Dak is just saying, listen, we want you here. Because earlier in that conversation, he was talking about this team, we need key guys. We can make a run. We could have something special here.
Absolutely.
George Pickens is a part of that. There's no way that Dak Prescott would ever say to George Pickens, hey, just be quiet. Don't even worry about the business. I don't think he's saying all of that. I feel like you're putting a little too much mustard on the hot dog. Like,
I don't think it's about mustard, because that is what Dak Prescott said, but in a different way. Dak Prescott is encouraging George Pickens to play on the tag. But I caught something else in there, what he said about playing on the tag. He said, I hope we can extend him to a long term, but if we can't, George will be fine. I think he's saying something else there too. George, put your talent on display. And if the Cowboys don't sign you, you're still going to get back out there again, and you're still going to be able to hit the lottery. Because this is a very tough situation. Probably doesn't benefit George to sit down.
I just think you're like overdoing it.
Kimberly?
And you said it yourself. 1 second. You said it yourself.
Sure.
George Pickens has to show up. That's
I'm going to answer your question in just a minute, Angie.
no different. That's the reality of the situation. That's no different than what Dak is saying. Yes, Steven.
Excuse my distraction for a second, but notice.
It's always the same highlighter. Yes.
Sure that considering the places that I have been, particularly considering what assignments they send you on, what cities you go to, Kimberly, you can appreciate them not to get their bag. Ain't nobody gonna ever say that about Stephen A. You that money. Get that money. You understand what I'm saying? That's the language, it's a universal language, okay? Got to get the money. I do agree with Kimberly, though, when I say that you're throwing a little extra into it, J-Mac, but I get where you're coming from. You're right. Don't get me wrong, you're right. But that wasn't Dak's intent. Dak is like, yo, 30 million ounce. That's what he was really saying. What he was really saying is it's 20 to 30 million ounce. All right? Don't forget that. Don't lose. Yeah. There's 100 to more down the line in guaranteed dollars for you to get. But this 30 million ounce right here, you got to get that. That 30 million ounce. That's what he's saying. And I understand that. And here's what also you have to appreciate, J-Mac, about Dak Prescott in this regard.
Yeah.
As somebody who has sat down with Jerry Jones on several occasions, and I know him a little bit. Remember what he said publicly even when I interviewed him. He said that Dak didn't get what he wanted initially. He showed up and played. It's not right. I want to emphasize, Jay, it's not right. And I told Jerry this to his face. It's not right, particularly with the whole Michael Parsons situation and others. It's not right. But it is who he is. Jerry Jones is the kind of cat that if you don't show up, he ain't trying to do you any favors. Zero. With Pickens ain't Dak. And so on one hand, you can look at Dak and say, look, bro, he ain't you. He got to get his bag while he can get his bag and all that stuff. But on the other hand, you got to listen to Dak, who knows from experience what it's like dealing with Jerry. And as a result, saying to George Pickens, don't lose your love for the game, bro. Do what you got to do for you. We understand that. Try to get that bag, but don't devalue yourself because you're so frustrated. And I think that's the ultimate lesson that Dak was trying to give to George Pickens. And I understand and I can respect that.
And I agree with you guys on Dak's intent of what he's trying to say and convey to George Pickens in that moment. I think the piece we're missing, though, is how that clip will be used for George Pickens. Because now if his agent wants to make...
Yes. Two things can be true. Two things can be true, because I want you to pay attention. People said what Dak said already. And so now people are going to be at a fever pitch of, yeah, man, he need to play on that. He need to play on that tag. Nah, that's his decision. That's his decision. I'm not mad either way. That's George's decision. Bottom line. I don't think Dak Prescott is going to be mad at him if he makes that decision, but that's his decision. I understand exactly what all parties are saying in this, because people have been, at every turn, they try to either devalue George Pickens or everybody wants to tell George Pickens what to do. Everybody's got to, no. This is George's decision. He's the only one got to live with it. He's the only one that has to live with this. So George has to make the decision. And I actually agree with what he says next. Listen to this.
Make a stink about the franchise tag and wants to really try to pressure the Dallas Cowboys into giving him a long-term deal right now. What do you think Jerry Jones is going to point to his agent and to George Pickens? Did you listen to your quarterback? Did you hear what he had to say? He told you, just play for the love of the game. Don't worry about next year or what the future is going to hold or the money you're leaving on the table. Just focus on the present. That to me is the part of it.
But Jerry's going to do that anyway. Jerry's going to do that anyway. You know it. Kimberly knows it.
Yeah, but I don't think they're grasping how much weight Dak Prescott has. I don't think they're understanding the gravity of what this ex-player is saying. I understand what he's saying. Both of these things can be true to a degree.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask. Had Dak said George Pickens is worth whatever he wants. However, I would just tell him.
I'm not commenting on somebody else's contract situation. George Pickens is a wide receiver that we want in the building. He knows how much we want him here. There's things that have to be worked out between him and the Dallas Cowboys, but he knows 100% that we want him to.
I agree with that, Jay.
Dak is putting George on game because Jerry is a whole different animal.
You want to put me on game? Pick up your phone, hit me with the text and say, hey, George, this is how you handle it. I don't need you in the media to say what I need to do in this situation.
He don't need to be in the media. He don't need.
Well, I'm going to tell you, love it, like it, or hate it. I think what he said right there is powerful. I think it's powerful. I think, McCourty, what he said is powerful. Don't say those things in the court of public opinion. You can call me on the phone with that kind of stuff. I agree with him on that part. I do. I'm sorry, I do. Call me on the phone. Tell me how to deal with Jerry on the phone. But don't put stuff out there in the court of public opinion. Why? Because the court of public opinion is what you are saying it is. It's the court of public opinion, as in opinion. Opinion. That's what it is. It's opinion. At the end of the day, as it applies to George Pickens, this is so simple to me. Whatever George Pickens does, he's got to live with it. He's got to live with that decision. Now, let me answer something, Angie. You asked, why is this an issue? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this issue with George Pickens can be the silent killer. It can be the silent killer. Because I'm going to tell y'all something about George that he's doing that is real smart. Anybody notice? George Pickens hasn't said a word. Hasn't said a word. He hasn't said one word. George is smart. George is smart. Because George, I'm telling y'all, and I'm going to tell you again, how this all turns out is going to be dependent upon George Pickens. It's all dependent upon George Pickens. George is going to determine how this all turns out. If George wants to play on the franchise, if he wants to practice on the franchise tag, come to OTAs, come to voluntaries, it's going to be pretty much smooth sailing. But if George chooses not to, the drama's going to build. And if there's anything that Dak and George Pickens does not need to miss, they don't need to miss practice time. It is important that they keep building chemistry, because anytime you miss those OTAs, you miss those training camps, you miss those voluntaries, you are losing valuable chemistry. And then you got to work on getting your chemistry back together during the season. This is a very big deal. It's a very big deal, but at the end of the day, George may decide he don't want to put his body at risk all the way from what? April? You don't want to put his body on the line all the way from either May to August and risk getting hurt before he even touches the field. George got to make this decision. At the end of the day, George has to make this decision. It could really hurt the morale of the team, I believe. And depending upon how bad it gets, because I just don't believe David Mulugeta is going to let George play on the tag. I'm just struggling with it unless George puts his foot down and says, I'm playing on the tag and there's nothing you can do about it. Or he tells David Mulugeta, we're not leaving Dallas. This is what I want to do. I want to take the chance. I want to take that chance on this team hitting the lottery. So if he decides to do that, that's what he decides to do. But at the end of the day, George is the one that has to make the decision. George doesn't have to listen to Dak Prescott. George just needs to take everything that he gets, all of the advice that he gets, and then consider what's best for him. And none of us get to decide what's best for George Pickens. Everybody's encouraging this young man to play on the tag. Then if he goes out there and if he was to have a cataclysmic injury, then you have everybody coming back saying, oh man, he shouldn't have played. No, this is George's decision. This is George's decision. And I understand the both sides of the argument. I don't think Dak Prescott's intentions were nefarious. But I also can see where Dak Prescott's statements could be pulled out of context and just on face value saying, yeah, Dak is telling him to play on the tag. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I had something to show you the other day because I did some investigation on this. And there are players, non-quarterbacks, I'm not talking about quarterbacks, players who have actually taken a chance on the franchise tag. And in most cases, they came back and hit the lottery. Let me show you something. T. Higgins, 4 other NFL players who excelled during their franchise tag season. Of course, T. Higgins is one of the big stories. But let's look at number 1. Saquon Barkley. 2023 New York Giants played for $10 million. Barkley parlayed his franchise tag into a long-term deal, record-setting season, and a Super Bowl championship, but he did that with the Philadelphia Eagles, not the Giants. While playing under the franchise tag for the Giants, Barkley rushed for 962, almost 5 times the total anyone else on the team, 6 touchdowns despite missing 3 games with an ankle sprain. He also tied for the team lead in receiving touchdowns with a career-high value. After the Giants went just 6-11 and missed the playoffs, they let Barkley walk in free agency. Barkley signed a 3-year, $37.8 million deal with the Eagles and rushed for an NFL-leading 2,005 yards and 13 touchdowns. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Saquon Barkley got another extension last year. He got another extension last year, and now I'm hearing they're in trade talks. It's crazy. T. Higgins in 2024. T. Higgins played up under a $21.8 million franchise tag. Higgins battled through hamstring and quadricep injuries throughout the 2024 season, but he still accumulated 73 catches and 911 yards, 10 touchdowns in 12 games. They are especially impressive numbers considering he played second fiddle to Jamar Chase. So again, there is precedent. Le'Veon Bell played with the Pittsburgh Steelers 2017, $12.1 million, but we know he wound up holding out and it was a disaster. Chris Godwin played on the franchise tag in 2021, $16 million. He actually says he was Tom Brady's favorite target in 2021. He led the Buccaneers with 127 targets, 14 games. 98 of those passes for 1,103 yards. Godwin dominated the game against the Falcons with 15 catches for 143 yards. Shortly before tearing his ACL and MCL in Week 15, the Buccaneers certainly missed his presence in the playoffs, falling 30-27 to the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round. After the season, the Bucs placed a second franchise tag on him, but before the 2022 season began, they signed Godwin to a 3-year, $60 million deal. But I wonder if he'd have got more had he not got hurt. And then, of course, DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence played on the tag for $17.1 million, came back the following season, got franchise tagged again, but before the season started, got a 5-year, $105 million extension. So it can be done. Can be done. You know, and it's crazy to say, you know, you can't even be careful playing on the tag because you try to play careful, you wind up getting hurt. What's going on, Demond? Appreciate that $10 super chat. He said, yo, G, I just logged on. I can't believe I missed the best intro music on YouTube. Play tickets. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Swade, appreciate that super chat. The Barkley trade talk came from a fake account. Okay. Yes, sir. That's for you, Damon. Appreciate you. All right. All right, let me come back. Bass says, if GP3 got hurt, folks would say, well, he signed it. Yeah, because it was encouraged. In fact, told to him it's his best for everybody when he should be looking out for him when it comes to these Joneses. Hey, man. I'm telling you, Bass, it's tough. But he got to do what's best for him. I mean, bottom line. And everybody's telling him what to do. But in the grand scheme of things, man, he's got to make his own decision. He does. He's got to make his own decision. He's got to do what's best for him, bottom line. But, you know, because if you do what somebody else told you to do and then something happens, you'll be blaming everybody. You got to do what's best for you. Larry Golden said, let me ask you a question. He said, do you think that because Jerry and Dak are so close to Dak, that Dak, it could be saying a lot of this to make Jerry happy? Well, I'll tell you, I said the other day, man, Dak is a company man. He's a company man. It's the bottom line. But I also think, Jerry, that Dak is talking from a position of, hold on, Wiser Don, let me see. That's my email address right there. I think Dak is also speaking from a place of experience and just encouraging him that if you do decide to play, you can hit that lottery. You can hit, you know, if you stay healthy, you can hit that lottery. But it's, you know, it's asking a lot to trust the Joneses, because that's kind of what Dak Prescott is saying.
Here we go.
All right, let's get to some of this Maxx Crosby news. The problem that happened with Maxx Crosby is the Cowboys had, it seemed like the Cowboys had a deal on the table that the Raiders were going to take. This is what came down today, and I think it kind of broke everybody's heart. Check this out. Rumors, the Cowboys thought they were close to a deal. They thought they were close to a deal with the Raiders to bring in Maxx Crosby. It says, but other teams jumped in and offered multiple first-round picks, causing the Cowboys to back out. This is what happened with Maxx Crosby. And I said this the other day, man. This Maxx Crosby thing, because there are so many people involved, it's going to be tough. I still say it's going to be tough for the Cowboys. And, you know, some are thinking because the Chicago Bears traded DJ Moore, that they're out of the Chicago Bears, out of the Maxx Crosby race. I don't think they are, because they freed up some cap space. I don't think they're out of the race. I think they're telling people we are very strongly still in the race. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know who the teams are, but I am not surprised. I am not surprised that people are coming in trying to up the ante on getting Maxx Crosby. And I want to talk about Maxx Crosby from this perspective. Let me put something up here on the screen I want to look at. I want to talk about Maxx Crosby from this perspective. And y'all tell me where y'all are on this, because I'm going to tell you where I am on this. I am not mad. I am not mad if the Cowboys get Maxx Crosby. I want to go over here to 105.3 The Fan. They had a discussion about one Maxx Crosby, and I want us to kind of break this down, because there are actually two roads the Cowboys can take. And y'all tell me, we're gonna talk through this. There are two roads the Cowboys can take. It's the Maxx Crosby road, and the Maxx Crosby road is win right now. Win right now. Win right now. Because it's going to put you in a pickle. And I don't know if you would consider that to be good or bad. But it's going to put the Cowboys in a pickle. Maxx Crosby is win now, 1-2. Hendrickson is also win now, but I consider it to be 2. And I'm going to even go this far. I say it's 3-4. But we're gonna look at this as far as this Maxx Crosby thing goes. Because again, like I said, the problem with the Maxx Crosby deal is there are teams out there who believe they are 1 or 2 players away. Now, as much as I would love to have Maxx Crosby, y'all got to understand something. And I'm sure y'all understand this. We're not 1 player away. I don't even think we're 1 or 2 players away. Now, y'all tell me what y'all think. I just don't think we're 1 or 2 players away. And the problem is, and I know what the Cowboys front office is struggling with, or what I believe they are struggling with, I don't believe they want to have addition by subtraction. I don't think they want to have addition by subtraction. Because the Raiders are out here trying to fleece folk. I mean, they're trying to fleece folk. We got to understand something. Sauce Gardner, young. Michael Parsons, 25. I'm sure Sauce Gardner's in the same boat. Maxx Crosby is 29 years old. Maxx Crosby is 29 years old. And that is a win-now move. That is a win-now move. But Trey Hendrickson is too. The difference is the price and what you have to give up. Let me see here. I think I had something on this. Because they were talking about, let's see, let me see which one it is. They were talking about Maxx Crosby, and they're talking about, okay, let's listen to what they're saying about Maxx Crosby. They're talking about Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but this is kind of where Adam Schefter was.
Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Shefty, obviously with the Drew Dahlman retirement, their center, that clears some money, and then DJ Moore, that clears some.
See, people think that the Bears are not in this no more because of the DJ Moore trade. No, they're freeing up money. And they're freeing up money for a reason. I'm going to tell you why in just a second.
Money. Are the Bears now big game hunting because there was a lot of smoke out there about them potentially going after Maxx Crosby, or now that they lost their center, maybe Tyler Linderbaum? Does this put them in a position now in free agency or trade for the Bears to potentially make a big move?
I think they've checked in on Maxx Crosby. I don't know that they're going to be able to get it done in the end.
I think there have been a whole bunch of teams in on Maxx Crosby. Everybody's sniffing around. That feels like one of those situations it's quiet now. The volcano's simmering, the surface, and we're just waiting to see whether that volcano erupts here in the coming days and whether the Raiders decide to ultimately move on from Maxx Crosby. There certainly are any number of interested suitors. The Bears have checked in. The Cowboys have checked in. The Bills have checked in. I would think a trade like this probably lessens the chances that the Bills could pull off a deal for Maxx Crosby because you only have so many moves to make for big name, big game players, big money players. And when you trade for DJ Moore, that's hard to give up all that money now to pay Maxx Crosby. Again, teams find ways to make things happen, but I just think it lessens the chance that Buffalo can get something done for Maxx Crosby by making this deal for DJ Moore today.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move along.
So the issue is on this is everybody is trying to make accommodations, and we have no clue. We have no clue who the other teams are who came up this morning at 5 a.m. and said, hold on a second, we want to also get in on this thing with Maxx Crosby. So the issue is with Maxx Crosby, man, everybody's trying to get into this. And so the only way, and I'm going to tell y'all now, I believe the Raiders, call me crazy, I believe the Raiders have targeted the Cowboys. I believe they targeted the Cowboys. I want y'all to think about this. The Cowboys, outside of the Cleveland Browns, they're not targeting the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns already got Myles Garrett. I believe the Raiders are speaking loudly to the Cowboys because when you think about what the Raiders are asking for, in the grand scheme of things, the Cowboys are really the only team that can truly give them what they're wanting. I'm telling you, I believe they have targeted the Cowboys because the Raiders are not backing down. They want 2 first-round picks. They want 2 first-round picks. And they want a player. And they want a player. And for what I'm hearing, they didn't want the reason why this thing didn't turn out with the Bears, they're saying that the Raiders didn't want DJ Moore. Anybody want to take a wild guess at the wide receiver that the Raiders would take without even questioning? Shoot, man, it's George Pickens. Yeah, it's George Pickens. The Raiders are targeting the Cowboys. HTM Sports. I think it's HTM Sports. Correct me if I'm wrong. HTTM or something like that. I was reading something that he wrote today that makes a whole lot of sense that people don't realize. Let me see if I saved it. Hold on a second. I think it's HTM Sports. He reported something today that I don't think people are paying attention to. And here it is right here. Let me show you why they are targeting. I believe they are targeting the Cowboys on this because it is the Cowboys who really need this. Look at this. The 2027 pick is frozen and cannot be traded until the end of the 2026 season. Not sure if there's any rule to getting around that. So if the Cowboys wanted to offer 2 first-round picks and they say, hey, we want to offer 1 this year and then we're going to give you the other one next year, how do they do it? for whatever reason, it's frozen. It's frozen. So you got to think about where the Raiders are with the Cowboys. The Raiders are real slick in what they're doing. I believe they are targeting the Dallas Cowboys because the Cowboys is the team. 2 first-round picks this season. George Pickens, franchise tag. They're the team. They're the team. They're hoping that Jerry Jones is going to get desperate and make that trade. They're hoping this. Who else can do this for the Raiders? Because if the Cowboys don't do it, and the Cowboys are really, if you ask me, the Cowboys are the linchpin in this whole deal. There is nobody that can offer them better than what the Cowboys have. There is nobody that can offer them better. A 12 and a 20? And George Pickens? Nobody can offer them better. Even if it's not George Pickens, what if it was Oso Diggy? I even heard the Marion Overshown name come up. If there is anybody who has what they're looking for, it's the Cowboys. Because if the Cowboys don't pull the trigger on this, guess what the Raiders are going to do? They are faced with 2 choices. They're either going to have to keep Maxx Crosby, and they're telling everybody, oh, we don't mind keeping Maxx Crosby. They are lying. Maxx Crosby and the Raiders are at odds right now. And they know full well they are at odds. And there is another part of this equation that I didn't know about, and I just found this out today, and we'll see if it's true. The Raiders have to make a deal with Maxx Crosby by March the 14th. Anybody know why? Does anybody know why the Raiders have to make a deal with Maxx Crosby by March 14th, 2028? Anybody know why? I found this out today. I'm not sure if it's true, but this is what I've been hearing over and over and over about one Maxx Crosby. And this is why this deal is going to get done. And if the Cowboys don't do it, then they're going to have to lessen what they're asking for, or they're going to have to keep Maxx Crosby. I don't know how true it is, Brandon Cutt, but this is what I'm hearing. Watch this. From what I'm hearing, if Maxx Crosby is on the Raiders team come March 14th of the new calendar year, his 2027 season is fully guaranteed. So now this is even making more sense. I didn't know that part. So whoever signs Maxx Crosby, understand, not only are you taking on $35.8 million, you're also taking on $29.8 million if he's going to be on your team by if he's going to be on your team by March 14th. Yeah. These boys know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And so this is why the Raiders, they're trying to move Maxx Crosby because they don't want these numbers. They would rather have somebody else take care of this. So Jerry is playing a great poker game in a sense. Jerry is playing a great poker game in a sense Because Jerry is basically saying, whether people like it or not, Jerry is saying something. I'm not giving you George Pickens. I'm not giving you 2 first-rounders. And if I do, one of them going to be this year, and then you'll have to wait on the one next year. But we're not giving you 2 first-round picks. And Jerry is saying something, and you need us. You need us to take Maxx Crosby off your hand because you're going to get hit with even more guaranteed money as it applies to Maxx Crosby. So the Raiders, they can deal with it. They can pay his salary this year and next year, and they can deal with a disgruntled Maxx Crosby because they know Maxx Crosby is disgruntled, or they're going to cave in and they're going to trade somebody. They're going to trade somebody less than what they're asking for. And this is what I believe everybody is doing. Edgy says, stall them out, Debo. Stall them out. Stall them out. And I think this is what everybody is trying to. Can they stall them out? Or, okay, who can be the one to tip the Raiders before March the 14th? So now it all depends upon who's got the best deal on the table. Who's got the best deal on the table? Well, if you ask me, and if you're thinking about this year, I don't know about other years, but there's nobody that I can think of that can truly give the Raiders what they're asking for. 2 first-round picks and a player. And I believe that player that they want, is not other than George Pickens. But and I'm glad it sounds like Jerry is saying, you're not getting George Pickens. You're not getting George Pickens. You're going to take these 2 first-rounders we're going to give you, or you're going to take nothing. And the Cowboys are saying, we got a backup plan. And now, what are you hearing?
Okay, the big sport.
Cowboys said, we'll go get Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. We'll go get Trey Hendrickson. You can keep him. You can keep him on your team and deal with that headache that y'all got going on right now. This is the conversation they were having on 105.3 The Fan today. And I think Brian Broaddus is trying to make a case for his 12th and his 20th pick. And I actually think Jerry is smart in not giving up that 12th and 20th pick, even though some say he's not. And I'm going to show you why after we get done with this. Check this out.
Story of the afternoon, the Maxx Crosby update. Trey Wingo says the Cowboys thought they had a deal done for Max last night. Then other teams jumped in and might be offering 2 first-rounders. Trey says now they're going to pursue Trey Hendrickson. So I guess the Cowboys are out on Maxx Crosby now is the update. It's cool to know
the Cowboys are the linchpin, though, because they can give them what they want right now. They won't have to wait till next year for a Cowboys 2 first-round picks. If they could finesse the Cowboys, they could get 2 first-round picks right now, and some people are advocating for that. Some people are advocating for it.
Serious about plugging their holes with all pro level players. Let me just say that. Salute to the Jones boys. They're in the big fight now. They're in the real game, and I like that. Jane Slater said, on Max and the Cowboys being in play here, here is what I'm being told from a team source. Raiders are talking to a lot of people, but we would not give up 2 first-rounders. She says that's the situation right now. Will that change? I don't know, but I checked for those of you interested. Did the Cowboys do the right thing here, not giving up 2 firsts?
I think so. Now, look, maybe they decide. Take your drafting hat off. Yes, take your drafting hat.
I don't think you can take your drafting hat off, though. And I'm going to explain all of this to you in a moment. The Cowboys can't take their drafting hat off. D-Block in the house. What up, D-Block? D-Block up in this thing. D-Block coming all day. D-Block say, hey, man. D-Block said, I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks, bro. Yes, sir. Bass, you're exactly right. Nobody has picks like us. Bass said, I think the Cowboys strategically did this Hendrickson news because that Crosby skin price is too high. Those other teams might be offering same as our picks. And again, Bass, nobody, as you just said, nobody can really offer what we can offer. Because you can get a 12 and a 20 from us this year. Nobody can offer that. Nobody can offer that. There is no doubt about it. Hallelujah. Broadus is a 2-pick advocate. Rico Jones said no to that first pick, those 2 first pick crap. He said no. Hey, Ra X, I'm not giving 2 first rounders in the same year for a 29-year-old who needs a contract. Not to mention, people talking about Hendrickson had a hip surgery. Man, Max has been a little banged up the last couple of years. Ankle injury in 2024, 2025. What was it? The meniscus injury. He's getting a little old too. Brandon Cupp said the Jets got picks. Brandon Cupp. Guess why they're not going to do it though? They're not going to do it because they're not one player away. The Jets, they're not one player away. They need multiple players. They're not going to give up picks for Crosby. At least I don't believe they will. I don't believe they will. I do not believe it for a second. I don't believe they will. All right, let's keep listening.
Add off that you've seen 100 some odd players, right? And you're neck deep into this thing,
which makes it obviously harder. But you keep your team building hat on. But I don't think at this stage, and I would give up 12.
As much as you cheer for Dak,
I would give up 12. I would go as high as that.
Okay.
But I don't think I can go 12 and 20. Would I be open to saying, okay, I'll give you a 1 and I'll give you next year's 2? Yes, I would do that.
Give me a combination, since you studied the draft as well as you do, and you're really good at it. That's going to sound like Dawson there for a minute. I was kind of like Dawson there. We'll kind of butter you up a little bit.
I appreciate that.
Give me 2 players at 12 and 20 that you would take combo platter better than Maxx Crosby.
Ooh.
And I know I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I mean, Downs at 12, if you were to fall there.
That's fair.
And then at 20, Jacob Rodriguez.
Okay.
Yeah, and I look at it like also in free agency, it's not like you don't have to get somebody that's still a really good edge player. You could go get the Trey Hendrickson. You could go get the Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
You know, you could get there's a handful of these guys that you can still get a quality player there without giving up the assets. If I'm giving up the 2 1s, I'm going to need a second-round pick in return. I'm going to need, hey, if I'm giving you 2 1s, Vegas, I'm getting your second-round pick.
That'd be a very early 2.
And I'd go with exactly, which is why I'd probably pivot and go with a 3 because I don't see the value there for Vegas if they're going to do that. But I wonder how serious other teams are going to be about giving up 2 2s or 2 1s. And I think that, and I'm being asked this a lot, and Brian, you might have a better understanding of this, because the Cowboys have already agreed to give up the 1 next year.
Right.
And it's the higher of the 2 picks.
Right.
So could they say, you know what, screw it, we want Crosby, we'll give you 12, and we'll give you the lower of the 1s next year? Are they allowed to do that, or can they not move the pick next year?
No, I don't think
they're frozen.
They're frozen.
See, that's a pickle that they're in then.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I do want Maxx Crosby. And I'd go as high as 12, and I don't think another team in this race other than the Rams at 13 can offer you. None of the teams ahead of you, the top 11 teams, are not in on this, in my opinion. So I think 12
Could
is going to be the
Philadelphia
highest pick
offer
they can
them
get.
their pick and players?
Sure.
Could they give up their wide receiver and a pick?
Yeah.
For this one?
And I thought Chicago was going to do that. I thought Chicago was going to offer a 1 DJ Moore as part of a package. Now, they just traded DJ Moore to Buffalo. But maybe Philly does. Maybe Philly jumps in here and says, we're going to give you a 1, we're going to give you A.J. Brown, and they value A.J. Brown as a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if the rest of the league does. To me, it's crazy that Howie Roseman thinks we're going to get more for A.J. Brown now, 4 years older, than what they gave up to get him from Tennessee, which was just a first-round pick. That's wild, but that's Howie, and I get it. So, I mean,
Doesn't really want to trade him.
It's exactly. It's tough for me to move both
because it makes him look
Max
bad
at this point.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders want to look good by getting 2-1s. Like, they don't want to be the guys that moved their fan favorite, and Maxx Crosby doesn't want to be the guy that's asking out. I don't know. The way Trey's report read to me was that some teams are now willing to give up 2-1s. Are you calling BS on Trey Wingo with us live at 5?
No, I'm not. I'm not calling BS on Trey. I think Trey knows, and I think he's spot on because I was getting, and I didn't get it confirmed from anybody that I trust, but I had people reaching out saying the Cowboys are pushing really hard right now for Crosby.
It was exciting last night.
This thing's going to heat up in the next week. And, Jane went ahead and echoed that, and now Trey did. So I think that Trey's saying they almost had a deal done. If they're going to pivot, maybe they did. Maybe they did get a call. But if that's the case, then why isn't the deal done, with that other team that was going to offer 2-1s? So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to stretch the bidding war out and see if
see if they get another call.
Because I bet right now a team in those 20s is saying, like, yeah, we'd love to get Maxx Crosby. Maybe it's Seattle and they're offering 32 and next year's 1. I mean, if you're the Raiders, would you take that right now? I want to see if that gets better, and we really got to have a conversation. Like, if the Cowboys are offering 12, would you rather have 12 or the Seahawks 1 this year and their 1 next year? Or the Bears? The Bears are picking at 25, 26, and their first rounder next year could be even worse than that. I think you could say that 2-1s looks better in headlines, but 12's the better value, isn't it?
That's what I think. And that's why I still think the Cowboys, unless it's 13 with the Rams, and the Rams are going to say, we'll give you 13 and we'll give you our 1 next year, which they would do. I mean, Les Snead is F them picks guy. They're super aggressive. I thought this whole time it was Cowboys versus Rams, and I would probably bet on the Rams to get the deal done because they've proven to be the more aggressive of the two teams.
Yeah, I love this meme that's going around to this graphic where over the last 10 years, their first-round picks, they've only picked one of them, and it was Jared Verse. They know what to do. They know what to do with those first-round picks. A lot of different ways to skin the cat. I'm envious of how Les Snead goes about his business, but it's cool, like, so the next thing is keep your first rounders and get Trey Hendrickson, which is apparently
you
what
said
Trey
that
Wingo
a while
says.
back.
Yeah.
I remember you were talking about that a while ago.
Yeah, and I'm excited about either. I mean, you sign a Trey Hendrickson and you draft a Reuben Bain now at 12, and you still have 20. This thing, it might have higher upside than moving even one of your picks for Maxx Crosby, even though he's better and never comes off the field and plays the run equally well, and he's a better player. But Trey's still one of those guys that could go out there and get you 15 sacks next year, totally flip your dynamics in your favor. Okay.
And I would even throw out Jalen Phillips, too. I mean, I know he's younger and maybe he gets more money.
Yeah.
And he's got the injury history, but he's got familiarity now in the Fangio Parker kind of scheme, playing in Philadelphia for the second half of last year. He's younger. He's a better run defender than Trey Hendrickson. And despite the injury history, he's still a freak athlete. Still has great explosiveness and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, those are options that are out there on the table. Parker obviously has great familiarity now with Phillips, so I'd be interested to know, how he feels about him. But Phillips would be a great addition, too.
And the Cowboys are seriously considering allocating 30 APY on an edge. Anything's possible right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Man, I'm telling you, it's a good time to be a Cowboys fan because at the end of the day, Cowboy fans, don't get upset that the Cowboys don't get Maxx Crosby. We ought to be more excited because they got another plan. Whether it be Hendrickson, whether it be Phillips, no matter who it is, man, they got a plan. And I'm glad that this is something that the Cowboys don't typically have, is a doggone plan. I'm glad they got a plan. They got a plan. And they're not going to put all of their they're not going to put all the eggs in the basket on one Trey Hendrickson. Because I got another theory on this. I got another theory and another angle on this. Because I believe that if you don't get, let's say you don't get Maxx Crosby, I think you have the opportunity to where you could actually go in. Hold on, let me pull up something real quick. You could actually go in, if you're the Cowboys, you could double dip. You could absolutely double dip as it applies to the edge position. If you're going to put $30 million APY out there for an edge rusher, well, why not go and get 2? You might be able to give 120 and 110. And you got 2 edge rushers. You can double dip in other positions. I'm going to show you why you may absolutely not only get more bang for the buck if you don't get Maxx Crosby, but you also get more bang for your buck because you're going to get great players and you're going to get depth. Let me show you something real quick. I think Peter Schrager, let's see. They're going to talk about, I want to let you hear what they're saying about Trey Hendrickson as I'm taking some notes right here. Check this out.
That's been going on for a while. Where do you see him going? Also, Cam Jordan, Khalil Mack, they are both, veteran edge rushers on the market now. Does Trey sign first? Where do you think he goes?
I think Trey is going to be a highly coveted defensive end in this market.
Hey, baby, Trey. Hey, we're happy for Trey. We're happy for Trey. It's been years.
And it felt like he's, and being an NFL player is a great honor. And being on it these past 2 years, it felt like this was a lot of strife for a guy who is, as you guys know, going on your show and who has treated everyone in the media wonderfully over the last several years of his career, going back to New Orleans, that this felt like this was the way it should end. And yet the day of the franchise tag, I was hearing stuff that they might franchise tag him. I'm like, please don't. Just let him walk. Let him have a new career. Let him try to be out of that situation. So he's a pure free agent. And I think Dallas does make a lot of sense. I know he's on the other side of 30, and that's not necessarily what everyone wants to hear. But they have the 12th and the 20th pick where they can get younger, and they're looking to add assets. So Trey Hendrickson will have a market, and I'm hoping that first day when I'm with you guys at the Thunderdome, we're announcing at 12:05 p.m. that Trey Hendrickson has signed a major deal somewhere.
We hope for him that he gets some sort of generational wealth because he took small deal, small deal, small deal. We'll get you next year, small deal. We'll get you next year, small deal. I don't want to do this, he said, but I kind of have to do this.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Came on the show and was like, I guess this is what I have to do. I hate that this is what I have to do, but I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a better deal. This has been happening behind closed doors, but now I guess this is what you have to do these days to get. That's basically, he was so hating what he was being forced to kind of do to get a deal done. And because
remember?
Because of that,
my wife was a nurse and I met her at the hospital. Like, she's a Cincinnati girl. Like, I want it to be good. I desperately want this to be working. It's just not. He assembled the local media and apologized.
Yeah, went to practice, was wearing golf stuff.
Yeah.
Was going to talk to the media. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate it. These bums just won't pay me. And then the owner comes out and goes, at some point, these athletes need to understand you signed the deal. And it's like, wow, is that a shot directly at Trey Hendrickson? No, it was a shot. Trey was like, feels like a shot, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll.
Still might go back.
You were so mad. At him for how nice he was being this entire. This has been like the better part of 3 years now in the making. A lot of good prime time of his career has been sent in purgatory, basically, with Cincinnati. Now, hopefully, he gets a chance to really.
And up until the day, because Mike Brown is 92 years old. He still goes to practice every single day. Still has thoughts. Does not talk to us in the media. So there could have been at 3 o'clock in the franchise tag. If somebody had come across that Schefter was reporting that Trey Hendrickson was being franchised, I wouldn't have blinked because that's how that organization operates. You don't know. So they did let him walk. And
Trey is 31. Ron Hanna. So the Cowboys got options. Cowboys got options. Let me show you something real quick. So when you look at the top edge rushers available, the Cowboys have got some options. And these are not something to sneeze at either. Jalen Phillips has already played under Christian Parker. They got Trey Hendrickson, 31 years old. There is Odafe Owe, 27 years old. He can play. Odafe can play. You got Boye Mafe, 27 years old. He can play. I'm telling you, he can play. You got somebody named Kwity Paye. I've never heard of him. You got Kwity Paye, Kalavin Kyson, Khalil Mack, if you wanted some depth, if you could get him on a cheap deal. You got Joseph Osai. You got Joey Bosa. You got Arnold Ebiketie. I'm pretty sure I messed that name up. You got Bradley Chubb. You got some options. You have some options, especially in these top 5 issues here. You've got some options. And where I am with the Cowboys is, if you can save some money and not go with Maxx Crosby, if I'm the Cowboys, why not try to double dip? Why not try to get, if you're going to say, okay, I'm going to get Jalen Phillips, Trey Hendrickson, or Dafe Owe. So you target those 3 or Boye Mafe. So you got those 3 on your list. And let's not forget about Jonathan Greenard from the Minnesota Vikings. So really you got 5 because they got him on the trading block. You got 5 good pass rushers. If I'm the Cowboys, I double dip. I get one of these top players, and I see if I can get another one of these players that are maybe ranked at number 6 or 7. I would try to get one of those players because you're going to get that depth. You're going to have more of a force out there on the field. Trey, Quinnen, and then whoever that other guy is, depending upon what you want to do. Because if I'm the Cowboys, I'm sorry, I love Donovan Ezeraku, but I am not, I repeat, I am not going into this season depending upon Donovan Ezeraku to be ready by the start of the season. I'm not going to be depending on Donovan Ezeraku to do that. I'm not. Bass, hallelujah. Y'all got to forgive me, man. I didn't read some of these names before, so I'm pretty sure I messed up about 3 or 4 of those names. But I'm telling us, you go with Maxx Crosby, you can get more bang for your buck. I mean, I'm sorry if you go with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson isn't Dollar Tree shopping. Jalen Phillips is not Dollar Tree shopping. You're not shopping at the Dollar Tree for Jalen Phillips. Odafe, that's not Dollar Tree. Boye, that's not Dollar Tree. And Jonathan Greenard, you're not Dollar Tree shopping. You're getting quality players. And Jalen Phillips, and I believe Trey Hendrickson, those top 4, they can still be game changers. They can still be game changers, absolute game changers. And so I want to walk us through a quick exercise. And what I want to look at is the road you are going down if you choose Maxx Crosby or if you choose Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Raw X, Bosa, Mack, Bosa, Hendrickson, Phillips, and DB safety before the draft. Yes, sir. All right. Let's look at something. Maxx Crosby or Trey Hendrickson. So let's say you got these options up here. And I'm not giving an either or. What I want to give you is the road you go down if you choose these 2 individuals. So if you look at Trey Hendrickson, this is what you're getting. I believe Trey Hendrickson is a win now move. And the reason why I'm saying that Trey Hendrickson is a win now move because of what you're giving up. You're giving up 2 first-round picks. Understand that first-round picks, especially at 12 and 20, they are supposed to be contributors on your team. It's not that you're not developing number 12 and number 20. but they are contributors because they are top of the line defensive players. Because at number 12, the Cowboys will be drafting in the top 10 defensive players available. At number 20, they will be drafting at the top 15 players, defensive players available, because in between number 12 and in between number 20, there will be offensive players. So, with Trey Hendrickson, with Maxx Crosby, it's win now, 1 to 2 years. You're telling Christian Parker right now, hey, hit the ground running. We're giving you Maxx Crosby. We want to win this year, no later than next year. Hendrickson is a win now move too. But Hendrickson is going to give you a 3 to 4 year window. Why am I saying this? The reason why Hendrickson gives you a 3 to 4 year window is that you get to keep your first round picks and you get to keep George Pickens. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to give him a player anyway, but you get to keep your first round picks plus you got George Pickens. So these 2 first round picks that you're going to pick, they're a part of the equation this year, and they are going to contribute. Bass said, nah, G, if we pull off one of these dudes, we have come from being a team that window shop to then Dollar Tree shop to now well-qualified buyers for 3 certified pre-owned. Hey, I'm telling you, man, those are some good players, bro. At least I believe. And again, with Maxx Crosby, you basically wiped out the top part of the draft. You've wiped out the top part of the draft. And if you do trade George, which I don't think they are, but if you did, you'd need a receiver. But if you don't, you still got George. But you're still going to have to go in and renegotiate Maxx Crosby's contract, because if you play George on a franchise tag, he's $27.8 million right off the bottom line. So you're definitely not going to be able to take Maxx Crosby's $36 million right off the bottom line, because that's what he's going to get paid this year. You're going to have to go in and rework that contract. But with Trey Hendrickson and Jalen Phillips are probably going to be closer to the $25 million per year contract. Maybe 30 at the most. Jalen Phillips can maybe be 30, but I think you'll be able to get both of them for around 25 per. So if you're thinking about 36 versus 25, that's $11 million. The following season, it's another $30 million for Maxx Crosby, and then you got $30 million for these 2 players. You got $30 million for whoever you pick. You're still saving around somewhere between $11 to $15 million. It all depends on how the contract is done. And so when you're talking about Maxx Crosby, you're only dealing with the 4th and back as far as the draft goes, if I'm not mistaken, the 4th and back. And you got to hit now in free agency. You got to hit. You got to go in free agency, and you got to hit on linebacker, safety, and corner. Why? Because you can't do it in the draft. You can't. Unless you're hoping a 4th or a 5th or a 6th or a 7th rounder emerge, and they're going to be one of those top players. But with Crosby, you got to hit. You got to hit on a Nakobe Dean type player or better. You got to hit on a Fitzpatrick type safety or better. You got to hit on an Alante from the Saints or better. You got to hit. You have absolutely got to hit, because you don't have those 2 first rounders to fall back on. If you're talking about Hendrickson or Phillips, I say you could double down and get you maybe 2 edge rushers. Not only that, you can still go and get Dean. You got a little bit more money to play with. You can still get Fitzpatrick. You got a little bit more money to play with. And you can get Alante, and you got a little bit more money to play with. You got a little bit more money to play with. And you might be able to add another player or 2 in here because of the money that you're going to save going with Trey Hendrickson. Going with Trey Hendrickson. Or going with a Jalen Phillips. Or going with a Jonathan Grenard. Or the combination of a couple of edge rushers. I really think the Cowboys have a great opportunity here if they take advantage of it. Bass says, so wait a minute. He said, you can get Phillips and Hendrickson for the price of Crosby and keep my picks. I choose that option. You may be able to absolutely, if not Phillips and Hendrickson, it may be Hendrickson and Grenard. It could be Phillips and Grenard. It could be one of these top 5 along with them. You can get more bang for the buck if you go the other route. I'm not saying the Cowboys shouldn't go with Maxx Crosby because I know where people are. All I'm telling you is you're going to have less money to play with. Either you're going to borrow more money from the future, and now you're in a situation to where you have got to hit on those free agents. You got to hit on them. There's no option. There's no backup plan because you have no first-round draft picks. There's no backup plan. You got to hit. Now, on the other side of this, I'm not saying you don't have to hit because you have to hit there too. But you can get a few more players to hit with, and you got a little bit more depth. But let me give you another PowerPoint. Let me give you another PowerPoint. This is the part that you get to keep in your back pocket. It's the draft. The draft. If you don't give up those 2 first-round picks, my issue becomes this. You don't know who gonna fall to number 12. And that, my friends, is something that I can't risk. I know Maxx Crosby is a proven commodity. I know. But I can get another proven commodity in Jalen Phillips, who has been under Christian Parker, who understands the system that he's going to be playing under, who will thrive in that system. Nakobe Dean along with him. I'm confident that the Cowboys will be able to get top-notch performance out of those 2 players. You go in this draft. Orville Reese could fall to you. Ruben Bain Jr. could fall to you. Sonny Styles could fall to you. Caleb Downs could fall to you. And oh my gosh, Jeremiah Love could fall to you. The draft in those 2 picks become your best friend because you have gotten your edge, you got your linebacker, you got your safety, you got your corner, and you can come back with some reinforcements. And you can be bringing these guys along as the season go on. And who doesn't believe in their mind that Orville Reese cannot come to the Cowboys and immediately make an impact? Who believes that he can? Who believes that Ruben Bain Jr. gets on your team and is not going to make an immediate impact? Sonny Styles is not going to make an immediate impact. They are going to make immediate impacts. Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love. They're saying the Cowboys may get David Bailey. You get the opportunity to get those guys with those players. Rose, I'm not talking about running backs. I'm talking about Jeremiah Love. If Jeremiah Love is right there, boy, you got to have a conversation. Well, man, they talking about Jeremiah Love is better than Zeke was when he came out. To even have that conversation is crazy. But Jeremiah Love is one of them, man. He's a freak athlete, crazy runner of the ball. To have him and Javonte Williams in the same backfield would be insane. I don't think Jeremiah Love is going to fall to the Cowboys, but I'm just saying, if he was there, you'd have to consider it. Larry Golden said, "Gee, what do you think about this? We give them a 12th pick and a Happy Meal. Other than that, you're right. He is hurt and he's trying to get all the money he can before he goes." I just don't think you can give him both of the picks. I just don't think you can give him both of the picks. You can't. You can't give him both of them. And the one that I wouldn't want to give him is 12. I just wouldn't want to give him 12. They can have 20. I wouldn't want to give him 12. Yeah, Robert Dudley said, make the money and smart moves work for us. See, we got to understand, Maxx Crosby is not a guarantee you're going to the Super Bowl. And so, man, we've seen this team. I said this on X a couple of days ago. We've seen this team with the best edge rusher in the game with the appropriate players not around him. But if you told me you could get Jalen Phillips and you could put the appropriate players around Phillips and plus have the draft and have the opportunity to bring in 2 top-notch young players who would be contributing by mid-season, no, I want them. I want that road. I want that road. I really do. I want that road. Tatiana said, I want Sonny Styles. Ron Hanna, I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. No, but again, Jeremy Love, if he did, oh my gosh, what would you do? Brandon Cup, Crosby trade wants to farm, and we're in foreclosure. That's what they want. Yeah, teams will trade up to get Love. I agree. Because you got to think about this. What are the other teams going to do who don't get Maxx Crosby? What are they going to do? And I'm just keeping it a beam. The last time I checked, in the last 7 Super Bowls, Maxx Crosby wasn't there. Maxx Crosby was not there. And again, if you check out these Super Bowl winning teams, they are dominating Super Bowls at the defensive tackle position. You don't need a Micah Parsons level edge rusher. If you can just get a Vontez Sweat. The Eagles dominated with, Montez Sweat. The Eagles, they were able to dominate with Montez Sweat in the Super Bowl. Why? Because their defensive tackle play and because of the defense of Fangio and Christian Parker. That's why. And I'm sure Christian Parker would give you the same logic. You don't need. It's not that you don't want. You don't need. It doesn't require Maxx Crosby. It doesn't require Myles Garrett. It doesn't require Michael Parsons, because the last time I checked, neither one of those edge rushers have been in the Super Bowl. It doesn't require that. You got Quinnen Williams. He is a monster up the middle. You got Quinnen Williams. If you can just put a Jalen Phillips, a Trey Hendrickson, any of that type of level of player, they're balling. I'm telling you, they're balling. Period in the story. They're balling. And your defense, if you hit in free agency and you got that draft, let me tell you something else. Let me show you something else those 2 first-round picks bring you. Let me show you something else. This is the PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint of the discussion. Watch this. You're the Cowboys. You have the 12th and you have the 20th. Do people not understand the flexibility that brings you? The Cowboys are not one player away. They need players. They need players. And if they don't go the Maxx Crosby route, it's going to enable them to get more players. Are you ready for this? Watch this part. You got a 12th round pick. And the guy who you want, you believe you can get at 15. You could trade back to 15 and get another team's 2nd or 3rd. And rather than that 12th pick being 1 pick, that pick is 2 picks. That 20th pick, if you felt like the player you wanted, you could get at 25, you've done your homework, you go back to 25. And you tell another team, I'll take your 3rd. You can have that 25. I'll take wherever you are. You can take our 25, we'll take your 3rd, and if you're behind us, whatever you are, we'll take it. Or, oh, you know what? You can have that 25. We'll take another second. There are so many combinations of players that you can work out with these 2 draft picks. They give you ultimate flexibility. But if you give up those draft picks, you have 0 flexibility. 0. Absolutely 0. Somebody could come up to you on draft day and say, man, if you give us 12, we'll give you our 15th pick and we'll give you a second round this year and a second round next year. You never know what you can get for that 12th. Even that 20th. Even that 20th. This gives you so much flexibility to get players who will be able to contribute right now. Right now, they will be able to contribute. No doubt about it. And I've been talking about this. When you start looking at these players on the big board, oh my gosh, man, this is a defense. This is a very good defensive draft. It really is. I'm not telling you you're going to find Maxx Crosby in their day one. But if you, like I said, if you get a Hendrickson or a Jalen Phillips, are you really needing that type of, you're going to be able to get that production in spades if you have multiple players that can absolutely win. They're going to have a chance at Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, David Bailey, Keldrick Falk, Akeem Messidor, TJ Parker, Cassius Howell. I mean, how far are the top 7 players? How far are they, or the players after Arvell? The 6 players after Arvell Reese. I mean, where's the fall off? I mean, you got to consider these things. Linebacker, Arvell, Sonny, CJ Allen, Anthony Hill, Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, the options you're going to get, it's incredible. Corners, Mansoon Delane, Jamard McCoy, Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, Brandon, come on. Man, all I'm telling us is this. Look at the safeties, Downs, Thieneman, Emmanuel. I mean, look at this. All I'm telling us is this. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. We gotta stop trying to tell ourselves that if we don't get Maxx Crosby, we gotta stop telling ourselves we're not serious about winning if we don't get Maxx Crosby. That doesn't mean we're not serious about winning. It doesn't. I say it says we're serious about winning when we do what is best for the team and try to build the best team and not be so focused on trying to get the said best player at a position. I'm not going to be mad if the Cowboys get Maxx Crosby, but I'm also not going to be mad if they get Hendrickson. I'm not going to be mad if they get Jalen Phillips. I'm not going to be saying, wow, if the Cowboys could have got if they could have got Maxx Crosby. No, because I know the Cowboys still got flexibility with those first round picks because they could still come back and even trade a player for those picks during the draft time. Those picks offer the Cowboys so much flexibility. You get rid of those picks, you get Maxx Crosby, you have locked yourself into one mode of operation. And your mode of operation is simple. You're going to have to hit in the doggone free agency. Bottom line, you have left yourself no wiggle room. None. You're going to be paying more money. You're going to be borrowing more money. And you're going to have to hit on these doggone free agents. You're going to have to hit. But if you don't get Crosby, it don't mean that you're not going to have to hit. But it means you can maybe get an extra player or two to help you hit. Plus the ones you're going to get in the draft that will immediately be able to contribute to your team. That's where I am. So I'm not locking myself into any one way of thinking on this. I'm not going to get mad because somebody wants Maxx Crosby. I'm not going to get mad if somebody says they don't want Maxx Crosby, because I believe with the coaching staff the Cowboys have put together, they're going to be able to win either way, especially if you give them good and great players. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be better than okay, even if they don't get Maxx Crosby. Yes, I would love to have Maxx Crosby, but he is not the only way for this team to be successful. He's just not the only way. Frank Lawrence says Hendrickson, Kenny, Quinnen, Osa, Clowney, my pass rush. Unfortunately, they don't look like they're going to bring Clowney back. At least that's what they're saying. The citizen said, look, I like Pickens, but I'd trade him for Crosby. I wouldn't trade him for Crosby for 2 first-rounders and Pickens. I'm not doing that. And that's exactly what the Raiders want. That's exactly what the Raiders want, because I find it to be strange. I find it to be strange that it's being said they didn't want DJ Moore. How much you bet they wouldn't have that same type of energy with George Pickens? Man, this is not hard to figure out what the Raiders are doing. I think they're targeting the Cowboys. I really think they want the Cowboys to be the ones to come up and bite, because the Cowboys have the exact assets. If I was the Raiders, if there is one team I'm looking at, the Raiders have the assets. I mean, the Cowboys have the assets I'm looking for. If I'm the Raiders, they got the 12th and the 20th pick. They got George Pickens. I want both of those. I want the picks and Pickens. I want both of those if I'm them. They're hoping. I believe they're hoping, and I could be totally wrong on this, but I believe they are hoping the Cowboys cave in. I believe they're hoping the Cowboys cave in. But I'm like Angie, stall them out. Throw some smoke in the barn. Stall them out. Stall them out. You don't have to give away your draft. Don't give away your draft for the Raiders. Because it's strange to me they're gonna give up doggone Maxx Crosby, but then they're telling you they're gonna go in the draft and replace Maxx Crosby. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If they can do it, we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. They'll probably do the same thing that we're talking about doing. They'll get rid of Maxx Crosby, and they'll go get a player like a Jalen Phillips, a Trey Hendrickson, or they'll go get a Jonathan Greenard or whoever. They're going to do the same thing that we're talking about doing. No. You don't have to give away everything to get Maxx Crosby. And that's where the Cowboys are going to have to be smart. Because I want to show you something else here. I want to show you John Gruden.
You know, we used to have playbooks. Well, now
John Gruden put together a very good video about the 3-4 defense. And I thought it would be really good to show this to really help us to understand the kind of players that we are looking for and need for a 3-4 defense. Thinking about, do we have those players? You know, who do we need to be looking for? Plus, it'll get you familiar with the language of what they are talking about in 3-4 defenses. All right, let me read this on what Jeremy Betts said. He said, I'm trading George Pickens. I'm trading George Pickens for anybody. He said, I'm not trading George Pickens for anybody. George Pickens here can absolutely unlock Dak, CD, Javonte, and the entire offense. Use the draft to get two quality defensive backs. And in free agency, get 2 quality pass rushers. Those draft picks give the Cowboys a lot of flexibility. So I want to show you John Gruden. I watched this video a couple of times, and man, it'll really help you with your football knowledge. Check out John Gruden as he breaks this 3-4 defense down into goo goo gaga and at least it helped me to envision Cowboys players in these positions and where we have needs. Check this out.
we have the Gruden's Glossary. And all we're trying to do is show you some basic terms in football so we all get on the same page. So when someone says it's double A's or it's a bunch formation, we can recognize it and we can communicate and be on the same page. So check out Gruden's glossary. We're going to have some fun getting everybody on the same page as we all learn a little bit about football. Today's topic are base defenses, and we're going to start with the 3-4 front. You know,
who all familiar with how the 3-4 defense works? Who's all familiar with this? I think this is a great video, but who all familiar? Ladies, are any of y'all familiar with the 3-4 defense? Do y'all know how it works? Let me know in the chat.
when you run the ball or you throw the ball, you have to put in blocking schemes to attack the different fronts that you see. And it all starts with your base defensive fronts. Your base defense has 4 defensive backs. Are you with me, Clay? A nickel defense has 5 defensive backs. But some teams in their base defense use what we call a 3-4 alignment. And if you just look at that number, 3-4, it means something. That first number tells you how many defensive linemen are out there. There's 3 of them. And there's 4 linebackers, Jake. You got that? So how many DBs did I say are going to be in here? 4. 4. 2 corners, a free safety, and a strong safety. But when
now, just looking at what he's talking about, how comfortable are y'all with the corners and the safeties that we have to run this defense? How comfortable are y'all? How comfortable are y'all that we have the corners? I think I'm comfortable with the corners. Chanel, what's going on? I think I'm comfortable with the corners in Savone Revel Jr. Deron Bland, I have no choice but to be comfortable. But as it applies to our safeties, man, I am worried, especially once he starts explaining how this works.
you play a 3-4 defense, which some teams do, you have 3 down linemen. One of them is a nose tackle, and he lines head up generally on the center. Are you with me, Clay? He's a 335-pound man that can play 2 gaps. If the ball's over here, he'll play that gap. If the ball's over here, he'll play that gap. These are mammoth, strong nose tackles. They line up head up on the center. That's one of your D linemen. The other 2 are defensive ends.
Let's go, Cowboys.
And they generally...
Let's go, Cowboys says spider 2 wide banana. Boy, that man is known for this, boy. Rose, exactly, bro. Exactly. When he was explaining this, I was like, oh, man, we need some safeties. We need some safeties, man. Bad. Safeties bad. You right, Rose. Yeah.
Line up on the offensive tackles. Head up, outside edge, inside edge, 2 defensive ends. And they line.
Now, I do believe the Cowboys are going to play Osa and Kenny. Maybe the way they're talking about doing this, Osa and Kenny at the ends.
Up on the offensive what, Clay? Tackles. So you have 3 down linemen in a 3-4 defense. What's his name right here?
Nose.
That's the nose. This would be, if you're a linebacker looking at the defense, this would be the right defensive end. Even though it looks like the left defensive end to us, he's the right end because the linebacker's looking this way. Are you with me, Clay?
Yeah.
This is the left defensive end. They line head up on the what? 3 down linemen, the nose and 2 ends, and now we have 4 linebackers.
Yeah, I agree, Larry.
And we give these guys names. The strong side outside linebacker to the tight end, we call him the strong side linebacker. We call that man Sam, S-A-M, Sam. He lines up on the outside edge of the tight end. His job is to turn it back inside. Do not let that ball outside. Set the edge. You heard that all the time. Set the edge, set the edge. Well, set the edge, Sam. That's the Sam. The outside linebacker on the weak side, away from the tight end, is a man we call Will. Will, he's on the weak side.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're saying that James Houston is going to run the Sam. And they're saying that Maurice Leofau was going to run the Will, if I'm not mistaken. I got to be honest with you. I'm a little bit concerned about that. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what they were saying. No. The Will is going to be Donovan Ezeraku. I'm sorry. The wheel is going to be Donovan Ezaraku, and the Sam, I believe, is going to be James Houston.
We call that man who, Jake? Will. And generally, these two men are in two-point stances, and they are setting the edge of the defense. Yes? Now, the inside linebackers, they have two of those.
This is going to be Demarion Overshown and Maurice Leofau, correct?
The strong side inside linebacker to the tight end, we call him Mike. So Mike and Sam go to the strong side. Are you guys with me, Clay? Over here on the weak side, don't ask me why. I learned this from Coach Walsh way back in San Francisco before you were born, Jake. We call this the plugger. He's the plug linebacker, and the plug and the will, they go to the weak side away from the tight end. You guys dig it? Yep. So,
how comfortable are y'all with the linebackers that we have? How comfortable are y'all with the linebackers? I believe this is a place where the Cowboys have got to get Christian Parker some help. Edge and linebacker. I mean, man, he needs help at all three levels. I mean, he needs an edge. I think he needs linebackers. I think he needs safeties. And I think one corner. But this is, man, this is going to require some serious work, man. It is. Quentin Warner, what's going on? Quentin said, I disagree with the Commanders and linebacker take. They need O-line help. It sounds like they're trying to get in the sweepstakes for one. They're trying to get in the sweepstakes also for Maxx Crosby. When I heard it today, they said they were actually in the lead. I'm not believing it. Brandon Cupp said 2 safeties, 2 linebackers, 1 corner, 1 edge. Yeah. I mean, as he's explaining this, and I'm envisioning the players that we have, man, I really believe the Cowboys are going to need more. They're going to need linebackers. For me, the Cowboys have got to approach this like Donovan Ezaraku is not going to be healthy. They got to approach this, and Jerry has already said it. Excuse me, he said the mistakes he made last year was assuming Demarion Overshown was going to be ready and assuming that Savon Revel Jr. was going to be ready. And so I think this is one of the things they can't do this year. Don't assume Overshown is going to be healthy the whole season. Don't assume that Donovan Ezaraku is going to be ready to go by the first of the season. Don't assume those things. Go in and understand that you need. Go in and get these things. Bad said you had me almost at a heart attack. All right. The citizen said, I like Pickens, but I'd trade him for Crosby. Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. Sorry about that. Quinn, another one, another super chat. He said going Clowney and Hendrickson at DN. It's about production. Jerry Jones will mess that up. Looks like they're not bringing back Jadeveon Clowney. I think Steven was talking about not fitting. Yeah, Maurice is the wheel. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about Maurice being the wheel. Very concerned about that. Chanel said, I have this rambling all week by 3 and 4 letter networks and by radio stations on social media telling us why we need to give up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby's pure madness. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it. I just think you need more players. I'm not going to be mad if they get Maxx Crosby. I'm going to be celebrating. But I do think if they go the opposite direction, I think the Cowboys can be as successful because they will have quality players. But again, kind of listening to John Gruden, man, we got work. We got work to do.
Review this. Who is this mammoth creature that plays head up on the center? No tackle. And what are these 2 guys called that line up on the tackles? The ends. The $1 million.
See, this is where I think we're good to go here. I think we are good to go here.
Question. What do we call the strong side outside linebacker?
Sam.
And what do we call his friend who's on the strong side inside? Whoa, good job.
These are the issues to me is these linebackers.
And who's over here on the weak side setting the edge?
Will.
And then who would this be?
Water.
So there you have it. A 3-4 defense, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and how many defensive backs?
4.
You guys are quick studies. You know what I recommend you do? This is what I told Clay and Malice.
I'm telling us right now, we're going to have to be on point. We're going to have to be on point as it applies to these linebackers. They're going to be the key to everything. They are really going to be the key to everything. Edges and gap integrity. Chanel said running a 3-4 defense offers several key advantages over more regular or traditional 4-3 schemes, primarily centered on versatility, deception, and personal utilization. Yeah, it's going to be good. Ron Hanna said, not me. He said 1 Mike and 2 Sams for sure. Yeah, man. Yep. Chanel said 3-4 uses 3 down. Rose, I done read your comment in advance, bro. I'm over here laughing. Chanel said 3-4 uses 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers to create more dynamic, faster, and less predictable front 7. Yeah, we need work. We need work. Boy, you got me rolling. Rose said basically we need a whole new personnel on defense. Yeah, Rose, we got work, bro. We got work, and that's why I say we got players to get. We got players to get. We do. Gwen Bowden, what's going on? Sebastian Shaw, what's going on? Sebastian said Overshawn coming back. 2 bad knees, can't trust it. They gotta come back like they gotta be ready. Jerry talked about this. Jerry said we gotta be ready so that when someone goes down, we're still ready to go. Gwen said G is like a jungle, sometimes make me. All right, we keep going on. I see you with the old school rap lyrics. Yeah, they gotta they're gonna need some depth. They're going to need some depth. There's no doubt about it. They are going to need some depth. Clifford, what's going on? He said, I know this 4-3. The Dallas Cowboys need some linebackers. I don't trust the linebackers we have. I don't either. I'm just being honest. I don't trust the linebackers. Bass, I'm with you. I just really think that Maurice could be a great safety for us, but hey, we'll see what happens under these guys. But I think they're going to need some depth. Ron said we need players, more of the big names, too many holes on the defense, got to target a big name. Well, I think the players that are available, I think they are big names. In free agency, the Cowboys just got to go get them. What's going on, Runny Dub? Steel Slayer, appreciate that super chat. He said, I'm still shocked they let Logan Wilson go. He be sold. Yeah, I don't understand why they got him and then they just some of this makes me believe it's the defense. Was the defense coordinator and the talent evaluation. So that brings me to this player, Nakobe Dean. And there's a guy out of Philadelphia. Let me find it. Let me see if I still have it. There's a guy out of Philadelphia. He was talking about the importance of Nakobe Dean in that Fangio defense. And first, I want to bring this up because I'm sure people have talked about this. Hold on, let me put a marker here. Man, let me tell you about this kid, Nakobe Dean. There is a reason why the Cowboys, even with injuries, y'all are going to have to forgive Jerry Jones and the Cowboys for getting Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean has had some injury issues. There is no doubt about it. Nakobe Dean, pre-draft rookie season 2022, pectoral injury was a major concern coming into the 2022 draft. foot injuries in 2023, multiple foot issues, Liz Frank. 2024, knee patella tendon injury, suffered a torn patella tendon in the playoffs following the 24 season, causing him to miss the beginning of the 25 season. Hamstring in December 2025 against the Washington Commanders. So, Mile High City, they're going to be multiple. But even in a 4-3, I still think we need some better linebackers. But they're going to be multiple. Now, Nakobe Dean has had some injuries. It is absolutely true. Big Amish, what's going on? But I'm about to show you why I believe the Cowboys are going to be willing to take a chance on one Nakobe Dean. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this guy. His name is Top Billin. His name is Top Billin. And man, listen to this guy break down Nakobe Dean. Shout out to Top Billin. Check this out.
What's going on, all my top billing villains out there? We back at it. Now listen, I wanted to do something, right, a whole other subject matter, but y'all know how I get when I, as some guy, right, as an off-ball backer, a stack backer, having this boy be able to play around in traffic, being able to conduct, being able to search, his GPS level is just incredible, right? He's a full-time temp agency worker. He's always looking for work. That boy right there, man, I don't know what else to say about the dude, right? And this is the same year that people were trying to push this boy off the roster for Jahad Campbell, right?
Let me tell you right now, Ice Cold Cowboy, the Eagles are tripping that Nakobe Dean is saying that he's not coming back.
Because of college hype. Nakobe Dean showed last year that he's an incredible player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's an incredible player. And listen, remember when I first came through this joint, right? And I was talking, and people were bringing me some shit that some dude was talking about, calling him like Shrimpy Dean and all this shit like that. Where that bull at? Somebody tell me right now, right? You know what I'm saying? And I want him to keep the same energy too, right? Because don't be a Joe ass, you know what I'm saying, flip-flopper. Like, if you believe that somebody had limitations on them based on their size and...
Baz, what'd you say? Baz said that shirt is, he said that shirt is screaming. Baz, what you think? The shirt's too small? Baz, you think the shirt too small, bro?
Not their skill set in 2026 when a lot of the football players are built like Nakobe Dean in the first place, then you probably shouldn't even be in the business. And that's real rap, right? For real, for real. Like, Nakobe Dean, in the way, especially in the way that this is schemed, right? Getting to go against a lot of the running backs, right? Getting to conduct out in the flat, right? On those wheel routes and everything like that. Come on, man. This dude is built for that shit, man. I can't believe that anybody would disrespect this guy. Now, if you talk about his inability to stay healthy, then you have a point, right? He has not stayed healthy consistently, and maybe...
Nakobe Dean is the type of linebacker that Christian Parker loves. And even though Christian Parker, he said we're going to be multiple, but understand what he said also, too. He said he needs players that can play in those multiple sets. He said the best players can do multiple things. So he's not interested in just trying to move around and bring in all these substitution packages. No, he wants a dog on the field to play multiple, whatever it is, formations that they call. He wants them to be able to play. Quinn said that's a ridiculous trade. Pickens then screaming you need a wide receiver too. Yeah. And I do think that's what the Raiders has been leaning toward. Ryan said Hoodie is taking his blood pressure. Yeah, Nakobe Dean is nice, man.
That's an issue, right? It could be an issue moving forward. I understand that it's a business and everything like that, but I maintain this, right? This guy should be on this team long term. He should be on the team long term. Jahad Campbell is not a long-term replacement for Nakobe Dean. Jahad Campbell if people say that he's a long-term replacement for Zach Bond, that's because they're trying to double back. There's some straight-ass Joe asses right there as well, because people weren't talking about that. People were talking about him pulling Nakobe Dean or pushing Nakobe Dean off the roster. But I don't want to see him push Zach Bond off the roster either, right? As good as he may be in coverage in the future, we don't know that, right? For him to consistently be that, I think he could be that. But the Sam backer does more than just cover, bro. You still have to be able to stack and shed blocks. You're working to the strength of the formation. You still have to be able to break down in space. There was a play in this particular game to me that was kind of embarrassing, right? Kenny Pickett, he you know what I'm saying? He comes out. I can show you better than I can tell you, right? You got Jahad Campbell right here on the line of scrimmage, the in-man on the line of scrimmage, and it looks like this is some type of read. Let me see, we going right here. Looks like he read Jahad Campbell, breaking down the space, and what is going on here? He was lucky Kenny Pickett's not that great of an athlete, and Reed Blankenship was running that alleyway, something good. Let's see it again, right? Boom, here you go. Break down in space calculation on Howie Roseman's part, man, right? For all the great stuff that he did on that one right there, I was like, And you know what I'm saying? I'm not being Joe ass either, because remember, I said it at that time, right? I didn't do anything on Jahad Campbell because I didn't understand what was going on, to be honest with you. I covered did all those rookie profiles and didn't do not one on Jahad Campbell. I want you to look at this. This is a little bit of teach tape here. Now, if you see the way Nakobe Dean is aligned, right? Him being the Mike backer, you're going to always align him, not always, right? With the advent of motions and trees and shit like that, it's hard for you to be opposite the strength of the formation. When I say strength of the formation, I mean the side that the tight end is on, right? The side that the formation is closed off on is not really in vogue anymore, right? As you can see right here, Brock Bowers, the tight end, however, he's split out into the slot. You still put your strong side defender there, right? Your strong side, that's a Sam. It's meant strong side. Put your strong side defender across for him because you want him to be matched up on tight ends if this comes down to the pass. And you will want your Mike backer to be matched up on the running back if it comes down to the pass. Some people don't understand that. You even had some doofus bozo cat come in here telling me that Zach Bond was the Mike backer and Jahad Campbell, or something like that. Yeah, he said Zach Bond was the Mike backer and Campbell was the Sam when they played together. But I digress from there. But if you see right here, you'll get motion, right? So right now they're aligned right here. Motion is going to shift this gap because you're in man responsibility, right? So you get the man coverage here. Nakobe Dean's going to have to shift over. Right, he's going to shift over because this happens to be inside zone. You don't want Zach Bond being the lone ranger over here with Nakobe Dean being this far over, having to try to scrape there. So this repositions him. So this is actually good planning, right, by the Las Vegas Raiders. So you shift him over here to then run Genty this way. So Dean now has a couple of gaps that he has to cover to get back over there as well. But he's so damn smart and takes such good angles. Look at that. Already he's good. He hesitated. And look at this. Gets him a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. You can't fool this guy, right? Right? Obviously, you're not going to be 100% perfect if anything you play.
He is a film junkie. Film junkie, too.
When I'm saying with football, dealing with football. However, this guy mentally is usually in the right place. Look at this again. They shift him over. And they did their job there, but he's just too smart. Right? They really just wanted to swing this shit over. As you can see right here, they leaked out the lineman to get Nakobe Dean, and he's able to get around that. Look at that. Ashton Jennings had a tough game because of Nakobe Dean. It was like one-on-one. I know Jennings is going to be a great player eventually, right? He's working with a terrible team with a terrible offensive line, so he can't really show his goods there. But from a mental standpoint, man, your boy right here was like Debo, you know what I mean? He was like the hall monitor, baby. No running in the halls, no passing without your pass. He can do it all. Man, this is so beautiful right here because you can see him conducting. Right? He's Marcus Epps in on the joint. And look at Ladori Jackson right here by Cooper DeJean. Right here, they did a good job of pinching down on your boy Zach Bond, another man's gap. You can see how the gaps are as fans like me, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, I remember the days of like Stuart Bradley and Keem Jordan and all these guys like this, man. This is the next level of some shit right here. Watch the gap responsibility shift right here. No disrespect to Stuart Bradley and them dudes.
This is what the Cowboys were missing last year. Smart, linebacker play, gap integrity. This is what they were missing. This dude is a very smart football player.
You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't that bad of players, but I just think this is some next level shit. Watching Kobe Dean right here, never be in another man's gap. You can see how the gaps are doing right here, right? That's great gap, sound, defense.
This is what we were missing.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Don't be in another man's gap, right? If you can do this and you can hold up at the point of attack and hold at the gaps right here, bro, you're going to have yourself some really good rush defense right here. But he's manning that gap. He can see it right here. They did a good job of pinching down on your boy Zach Bond right here. But look at him stay parallel to the line of scrimmage and float every gap, right? Now he's...
Man, look at the Kobe Dean, what he's explaining the long way around. But look at Nakobe Dean, how he's flowing as he's watching Ashton Jeanty, man. This is incredible to watch what this dude is doing. This dude is a player, man. This play is incredible. Watch how he is tracking. He is tracking Ashton Jeanty like the Predator, bro.
He can see it right here.
Look.
They did a good job of pinching down on your boy Zach Bond right
Doesn't
here.
jump up in that gap.
Parallel to the line of scrimmage.
Look at that.
And float every gap, right? Now
Yeah.
he's where Bond originally was. Like if Jeanty wanted to go there, he's good. Now Jeanty wants to get outside here. You got Cooper DeJean right here on closing off the backside right here on the edge. Watch him continuing to float the zone right there, parallel to the line of scrimmage. Now he sees it. There's nowhere for really Jeanty to go because there's good presence being held right here by.
Man, if we can get this from the Cowboys, man. Bass, this is why the Cowboys are going to take a chance. Bass, they're going to take a chance. Nakobe Dean is, man, he one of them. If you can keep him healthy, and he mentioned this, I showed you the injuries at the beginning, Bass, before I start showing you everything. I'm just showing you why I know they're going to take a chance on Nakobe Dean. They're going to take a chance.
Cooper DeJean, so Bond is able to then shoot that particular gap and look at him, meet him head on. Bang. Good shit right there. Marcus Epps in on the joint. And look at Dory Jackson. Like, the little chihuahua and shit. Like, biting at people's ankles and shit right there, right? Much love to Dory Jackson. He's definitely played well. That was actually who I was going to do this video on, but I couldn't help myself, man. Your boy Nakobe Dean was putting on a clinic. Look at this. Rocket motion before the snap, trying to get Jeanty to the edge here on a swing pass. And you can't do Nakobe Dean like that. Look at that. Look at the lateral quickness.
Oh, my gosh.
His time speed may not be what you think it is or what you think a high-level, high-speed guy would be. But how often is Nakobe Dean ran by? The guy can run. His football speed is crazy because his football intelligence cuts down on time, cuts down on mental time. If you get what I'm saying there? You don't have to think about this shit. He already knows what to do, and he's there. Look at that. That could have been a much bigger gainer than 3 or 4 yards or whatever it was right there. Bang, causing this man a 2-3 car pile up, getting people splatter whacked. I talked about this joint on the after game review, but I love this angle right here. You get, of course, aligned to the strength of the formation, Zach Bond. You get Nakobe Dean right here over Raheem Mostert, the running back. Now, what they want to do with this is they want to run a bluff of the inside zone. They want Nakobe Dean to crash that gap extremely hard so they can get on a submarine route here. Brock Bowers, right? Love me some Brock. I almost call him Block Bowers, right? That's what my nickname for him when he was at the University of Georgia. The best blocking tight end I think I've ever seen it in the college level. The best tight end, period, I think I've ever seen at the college level.
Robert Dudley, boy, you got me laughing. Robert Dudley said, Kenneth Murray, we're not talking about you. Yes, sir. This man is the total opposite of Kenneth Murray. Total opposite of Kenneth Murray, man.
That dude is cool. Him, Cal Pitts as well. You got this duo right here, just brainiacs, man. He doesn't go for it at all. Watch this.
I'm not going to be surprised, Ron Hanna.
Steps taken by Nakobe
The
Dean.
Cowboys going to take a chance, and I think some other teams are too.
Nope. He got himself in a better position. Splaka Taya. Damn near ran Block Bowers right there to the concession stand.
This dude football IQ is off the chart, man.
Probably dirted that joint. Look at this right here. I want you to see.
His football IQ off the chart.
Inside zone, right, or split zone. Not at all, right? He saw it all the way, and he got out to the flat before Bowers did. Look at that.
Football
Bowers did. Kenny Pickett
IQ
still
off
threw that
the
joint.
chart.
Look at that. Splaga tie out. Fertilize that. Man, made him get a horizontal first down. This man's head is on the damn sideline. First down, horizontally. What are we doing here, man?
Yeah, he nice, man.
Good at your job, bro. Now, here's a perfect example of what I was talking about. You can't always get there. You can see him pointing it out right here. Dean across from the running back, but look who appears, right? And he has to split the difference. You can see right there, Brock Bowers appears, so now he has to split the difference between Bowers and Genty here. And what they're going to do is you're going to shift inside, then you're going to bring Zach Bond down to the end man on the line of scrimmage, just like you did Jahai Campbell on that play that he was in the game that I showed at the beginning of the video or the beginning of the film study section here, right? Same deal. All right, you jump into that. It almost looks like you're in a 3-4 at that particular point in time, right? So you jump on that right there, and look at this. Nope. Great assist, right? Look, Dory Jackson again. Your boy with the Chihuahua tackles here. And look at this. Great job by Cooper DeJean, once again, keeping that outside there, right? He actually splits the difference. Actually, you can say, right, with Cooper DeJean doing this thing right there against the block here, you can see, right? Menage block right there, and Adoree Jackson didn't have to come and try to tackle Brock Bowers if he was able to get.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man. After I saw this, I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. The Cowboys are going to bring this guy in. There's no doubt in my mind. If he is available, the Cowboys are going to get Nakobe Dean. There is no, let me see, I thought I had one more video on him, but no, there's no doubt in my mind, Cowboys fans. Nakobe Dean will be in Dallas. He will be in Dallas if it's up to them, I believe. If it's up to Christian Parker, I think he'll be in Dallas. Jeremy Betts, he said, that's how you play disciplined defense and stay in gap integrity and flow to the ball, and everyone does their jobs and set the edge, contains the play. We ain't had that in a while here. Yeah, he can play, man. Bass, Dean and Overshawn sounds nice if they could both stay on the field. That's the key. That's the key. Chanel said tight end missed his block on Dean. Man, Dean is, ooh. Backbreaker said Dean has coverage weakness. Okay. Baz, you ain't lying. Murray did not have football IQ. Yeah, he didn't have football IQ. Yeah, that shirt he had on was painted on, wasn't it, y'all? He was painted on. Big Amish said Christian Parker needs a linebacker that he trusts and able to put the defense in the right position as well as make plays. Yep. I think this is one of the reasons why they're going to get him. Brandon said he can teach and communicate. Backbreaker said why he's showing clips versus the He said why is he showing clips versus the Raiders? Somebody said everybody look good versus the Raiders. Yeah, I heard he's good though. I've heard nothing but good things about him. Yeah, Ron Hanna said the tape don't lie. He's better than our linebackers. Hey, I've heard he's good, man. I've heard he's real good. I think there's going to be quite a few teams that's going to be willing to take a chance on him. I mean, he's that good of a player. He's that good of a player. And again, looking at the top players by position, let's look at some of the linebackers that'll be available out there. Let's see if we can pull up some linebackers real quick. Linebackers that are going to be available. I really want the Cowboys to go after Devin Lloyd. I really want the Cowboys to go after Devin Lloyd. I think Devin Lloyd would be great on this team too. I'm not sure about Caden Ellis. I don't know enough about him. Leo, Chanel, or Canal, whatever that is. They got Nakobe Dean ranked at number 4. This is another guy I think the Cowboys should be targeting. Quay Walker. Quay Walker. And you look at the age on these guys. Dean, 25. Quay Walker, 26. You got Devin Lloyd, 27. I think those are 3 great players. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Chanel, chime in. What do you think about these players at linebacker? I think these players will be great for the Cowboys. There's Demario Davis out there too. He's an older guy. Devin Bush. You got Quincy Williams. I do believe Quincy will be on the Cowboys too. I believe the Cowboys are going to bring in Quincy Williams. I do. They were trying to get him last year and they couldn't get him. I do think they will be bringing in Quincy Williams. So I think the Cowboys are going to bring in some depth and some great players here. Larry Golden said, you make a lot of sense. The same with your viewers. He said, I'd rather have 5. We're 6 very good players rather than 1 excellent and the rest good and fair. It makes sense. Yeah, I think, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not mad at the people who want Maxx Crosby because I understand why they want Maxx Crosby because Maxx Crosby is a difference maker. But I do think with Maxx Crosby, it really kind of puts you in a headlock to where you're spending more money. You're going to have to give up those 2 first-round picks, more money, and you're going to have to absolutely, you can't miss. I'm telling you, you cannot miss. But if you go Jalen Phillips, Hendrickson, even if you go Jonathan Grenard, Odafe, it gives you a little bit more flexibility. I think you may be able to add an extra player in the equation. You may be able to get 2 linebackers rather than 1 in that equation, 2 edge rushers rather than 1 in that equation. So not to mention, you still have your 2 first-round picks. And if push come to shove, you might be able to turn the 12th into a 15th and a 2nd, and you may be able to turn the 20th into a 25th and a 3rd. The flexibility that you get with the picks, because you may actually on that day somebody may come to you and say, hey, we're going to give you this player if you'll give us this pick. You give us this pick, we'll give you this pick and a player. The Cowboys, they keep total flexibility if they keep those draft picks. If they don't keep those draft picks, there goes the flexibility, and you're going to really be putting your eggs in the basket of probably about 4 players. And everything else is going to be just bottom feed bargain shopping. So I do think the Cowboys can be good either way. I think they got some very good guys that's going to be influencing what they do. But again, man, the Cowboys got options in free agency. They got options in free agency, cornerback situation, Jamal Dean, Jalen Watson, Alontae Taylor is going to be a huge issue. Tariq Woolen, I think there are going to be a lot of teams looking at him. I don't think the Cowboys are bringing back, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have Nashawn Wright, Cordell Flott? There are going to be some options out there. Joshua Jobe, there are going to be some options out there even at cornerback if the Cowboys want to bring in some of that too. I do like the Cowboys' opportunity. They're going to have an opportunity to really turn this team around if they are really wanting to. They're really wanting to. But again, backbreaker, I'm not going to be mad if the Cowboys get Maxx Crosby. I just don't think they should give up 2. I don't think they should give up those 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. I just don't think they should do it. 70s Fan Show said they're saying that the Cowboys are going to pursue Devin Lloyd. Been hearing the same thing. I'm happy about that. Mile High City says, does Crosby have a saying where he goes? I think they're trying to give him that. Because if he didn't have a saying where he was going, I mean, the team they should probably be talking to is the Cleveland Browns. They got a bunch of picks, but they got also Myles Garrett, so they're not going to try to carry those 2 contracts. Yeah, Clifford said, I like this free agency class on linebackers, Devin Lloyd and Quincy Williams, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they're going to bring both of them. I think they're going to bring both of them in. So the Cowboys got some options. And again, all I'm telling us is on the Cowboys is just because you don't get Maxx Crosby, it doesn't mean that the Cowboys have not been trying. The Cowboys are just not willing to put that much finance into Maxx Crosby. They're just not willing to do it. Let me see something here. Yep, this came down. This is another issue that Jerry's need to be looking at. It says the Bears are releasing former Pro Bowl linebacker Tremont Edmonds. Per sources, Edmonds has been a full-time starter in each of his 8 NFL seasons and is now will become a free agent with 900 tackles on his resume. Yep. It's going to be some great players out there. But again, I think the Bears, people say the Bears are out of this. I don't think the Bears are out of this. I think the Bears are getting prepared to really go in on Maxx Crosby. They've created $45 million in cap space. I think they're trying to get Maxx Crosby. I really do. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I think they're trying to get Maxx Crosby. I do. Says the Raiders want at least 2 first-round picks for Crosby per multiple sources. I think the Bears are about to go in and do it. Joe Rodriguez said he said on the Crosby trade, the Cowboys offered 12 and Guyton. I don't believe they offered Guyton. I do not believe they offered Guyton. I am not believing that. But yeah, man, them Bears, boy, they are. I think the Bears are just. They are really pursuing. They are really pursuing. They're really pursuing Maxx Crosby. Boy, Jordan Schultz, boy. I mean, I'm sorry. The Houston Texans are just making this guy, Danielle Hunter, they're just making him rich. They're now finalizing a $40.1 million fully guaranteed extension of 1 year? Wow. They're making this guy rich. Okay, somebody named Emma Van said, just got an update on the Maxx Crosby situation. And all I can say is, wow, finalizing details with a source inside the Raiders organization. Stay tuned. Okay, we're going to see. I think it's the Bears. I really do. I'm with you, Lock and D. I think it's the Bears. I think the Bears are preparing for a huge offer for Maxx Crosby. I do. I think it's the Bears. They're opening up cap space and everything. I think it's the Bears. I think the Cowboys are there, but I think it's the Bears. Yeah, I think it's the Bears. Let me see. I'm still tripping on the Danielle Hunter thing. They won't. Why not just extend the guy instead of working out these crazy deals they keep working out? I mean, they just don't want to commit to this guy, obviously. Yeah, I do think it's going to come down for the Cowboys. I do think it's going to come down to the Cowboys. I think there are some teams, because they feel like they're 1 or 2 players away, I just think they're offering more than the Cowboys. I just think it's the bottom line. I think the Cowboys are just saying that there's just a certain way we're just not going to go. Got another one here. The Colts are speaking with teams about a trade for their former Pro Bowl linebacker Zaire Franklin as they look to get under the salary cap by next week per sources. Franklin led the NFL in tackles in 2024. Wow. Cowboys going to have a lot of options out there. Let me see here. John Frisella looks like he covered. Let's see. Crosby, the Bears, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders, man, I'm telling you, the Raiders are playing some hardball on what they want. And it looks like they're going to get it for the most part. We're going to see. Yep, we're going to see. All right, let me give you some, let me see if I can give you some quick hit news from today. Some things you guys probably already knew before we get out of here. Couple of these kind of looks like the Cowboys on these quick hits. I think of course the Cowboys didn't tender Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman is going to find a home somewhere. And I would not be surprised if a contender goes after Brock Hoffman, a really, really good player. I hate for the Cowboys to lose Brock Hoffman. Also looks like Alontae Taylor, man. There's going to be some teams out there after Alontae Taylor. Saints star cornerback Alontae Taylor was one of 45 players with a playtime rate of 95%. He's 14th in snaps, 5th in slot snaps, 25th in slot rate, slot pass rushes 2nd, slot run stops 8th. They're going to be after him. See, another quick hit here. Another quick hit. A lot of people are going to be after Devin Lloyd, I believe. Devin Lloyd is going to be a big deal. I still believe the Cowboys are going to bring in Nakobe Dean. I'll be honest with you, I like Devin Lloyd, but I would also say if the Cowboys could bring in Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, I would love that combination. I would love that combination. I mean, even if they brought in Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, and Caden, I would love that combination, man. Those are some good players. Those are some good players, but again, another quick hit for us tonight. I was blown. The Cowboys are basically only saving $1 million. Didn't understand this one. They have waived defensive tackle Perion Winfrey. Maybe the Cowboys will bring him back to the practice squad if nobody claims him. But I was a little bit surprised the Cowboys got rid of one Perion Winfrey. And then this right here shocked me, and y'all brought this up earlier. I was shocked by this. The San Francisco 49ers hired Matt Eberflus? I was shocked by this. It goes to show you, though, that maybe some people are looking at this as it was the Cowboys. Maybe they're saying it was the Cowboys and he's not that bad after all. Maybe they're saying it was the Cowboys. I was shocked. Man, the responses to Matt Eberflus going to the 49ers. Man, look at these responses. The GIFs say it all. Look at Young D. Look at this. Boy, these responses are crazy, man. Come on, man. Come on, Ryan Williams. Boy, these doggone responses are crazy to Matt Eberflus going over there, man. But this is the news out there, man. This is the news. Matt Eberflus. I'm telling you, I was absolutely shocked when I saw this Matt Eberflus. Okay, so y'all saying that Perion Winfrey wasn't well liked in the locker room? Wow. Okay. Didn't know that one. Did not know that one. But the Cowboys are going to have some options out here, man. This free agency is going to be wild. It is going to be wild. I think there's going to be even more stuff coming up over the next few days. Landon Holyfield, I've been seeing stuff that he's been posting. He said the Raiders are bluffing. Jones is not biting. The standoff ensues. I'm just telling you, I think they're wanting the Cowboys, the Cowboys package. I really do. The Cowboys 2-1s are their ideal package to pair with their first overall reset button. Yep. I'm agreeing with that. I'm agreeing with that. I think they want the Cowboys package at the end of the day. And I'm hoping the Cowboys, hey, man, stand pat. Stand pat. Smoke them out, as Angie said. Don't give up nothing that you don't give up anything out of desperation. Don't give up anything out of desperation. But again, it's going to be exciting. The closer we get to Monday, the more exciting it's going to be. Cowboys playing the game too. The Cowboys have shifted their focus to Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. They're talking about a 3-year, $99 million contract. I don't believe that's going to happen for the Cowboys, but we'll see. It's going to be a lot of options out there for the Cowboys, gang. It's going to be a lot of options out there, I'm telling you. A lot of options out there. And I just want Cowboy fans to understand, Maxx Crosby is not the only way the Cowboys can win. Trust me. The Cowboys can win and have a great defense without getting Maxx Crosby. They absolutely can. Absolutely can. Backbreak, appreciate that super chat. He said Dallas should give up 2 firsts for Maxx. 2026, 20th. And if they think they are a 2027 playoff team, that 27 first will be the 20s. Why not for Maxx? Now, this is the issue. The 2027 is frozen. This is why we were talking about that earlier. They cannot, for whatever reason, do anything until the end of the 2026 season. And the Cowboys are not going to give them that 12th and that 20th. I don't think they are. I don't think they are, backbreaker, but we're going to see. But I think the Cowboys are smoking them boys out, like Angie said. And the Cowboys are kind of like nobody else is giving it, so we're not giving it either. I'm telling you, I think they are targeting the Cowboys. They want the Cowboys package because it's the best package you can get out there for as first rounders go. A 12th and a 20th, and this one is what they want. And so I believe the Cowboys are holding out on them. So we're going to see as this thing starts boiling down. And again, I believe the Raiders are going to be pressed. The closer you get to the 14th, I think it's going to heat up. And as a matter of fact, I think it's going to heat up the closer you get to Monday. Because you don't want teams to start coming up with alternative answers, just like the Cowboys already have done. They're going to have to trade Henderson. I think they ought to create other packages too. All right, guys, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Best chat on YouTube. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.